What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Season Game Bitcast, episode 336. It is at least in Kansas City here, a dreary Easter Sunday morning coming to you live here. But we have an amazing game lineup to talk about, as always, and some good subjects today. Hogue is off celebrating Easter with the ladies in his life, so he will not be here today. But we have Bitcast regular, I think, as I joke every time, the most common Bitcast guest, Mr. Luke Lohr, host of the Xbox Expansion Pass, coming in hot. How we doing, my friend?
I'm doing well. I appreciate the invite as always. I'm here to talk about Skull and Bones and Marathon as an old IP and a number of other takes on Star Wars and the like.
Oh, you playing the role of Hogue today. That's a tough role to play, my friend. I hope you're prepared.
I can do it. I was born to play the role.
But yes, so we talked with Hogue yesterday. Obviously, we're still simulcasting this show. So anyone joining us on Hogue's side of the house, obviously, we'd love for you to hang out with us. But Hogue will not be here today, so just calling that out off the top. Other than that, we've got a bunch to talk about. But first, the Thai guy is here. He's coming in hot. Came in at like a minute before the show. How we doing? You awake? You ready?
A wizard is never late. He arrives precisely when he means to, Ains.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yes, I'm doing good. I'm chilling. I'm ready to. I wrote a review yesterday. Usually I write my reviews on Sundays, so I'm excited to just chill today.
Okay. Is it one you can talk about this week or no?
No, certainly not. But maybe next week. Who knows?
Okay. Fair enough. All right. So this week we're going to be talking about, we got Elder Scrolls Oblivion, the worst kept secret in gaming right now. We'll talk a little bit about that and what we know about it, at least at the moment. We're going to talk about, I've played the Rematch beta. That's the new game from Slow Clap that's looking to capitalize on kind of the Rocket League hype in the soccer or football arena. Got a couple indie games. I even have a Hogue's Note game I came prepared today to cover for him. We've got a release date for Switch 2 pre-orders, and we'll talk about Marathon and the Switch 2 with Luke, since he's coming over here to guest. And we will not talk about Skull and Bones Season 2, but we will mention it just out of...
not Season 2, Year 2.
Oh, Year 2. Yeah, good
year
call
2.
out.
That's the surprise.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But before we do that, of course, we got a couple things to get to, including our standard Googleman super chat to kick us off.
Googleman81, 10 euros. He writes, recently got Sora access and have been working on the Silly Little Ramen Shop Chronicles, of which some random bits are on my socials. Candy Korn?
So Sora is the OpenAI video generator, right? Am I right about that?
Sounds
I think
about right.
Okay, I'm pretty sure I'm right on that, which I'm guessing Googleman means, we always have to decipher Googleman super chats, Luke, which I'm guessing means he's making short clip videos using Sora of his trips to ramen shops. Googleman, you can tell me if I'm right on that.
I
so
also
that sounds
have
pretty
random
cool.
bits on my socials, by the way. My OnlyFans.
Yes.
Yeah.
We need to wait till my Lohr dump.
There you go. And then I presume the second question is he's asking if we like Candy and also the band Korn.
Korn, who I've seen live at least 6 to 7 times.
That is the least surprising thing I've ever heard. We've seen Korn live 6 or 7 times.
Many times.
I have another friend who also likes Korn. He's about your age and about your vibe.
Demeanor. White.
Yeah.
You're
the word you're looking for.
Yeah,
white.
Extremely white, obviously.
Luke, you don't get to say that. Travis
sorry.
can't really either, but you know.
That is
I love
word.
Korn. It's great. They're a great band. Favorite song, Amy? What's your favorite song?
Oh, wow. That's a Lohr dump. I don't know if I have a favorite song from Korn.
All right.
I'd have to think about that one.
Come to your mind.
Lohr, have you listened to Korn?
Me?
I mean, Blind is the song that got me into Korn.
Okay.
So maybe that's a little Lohr dump, but that's literally their first song.
Right.
Off their first major album. Obviously Freak on a Leash is a classic. But I think there's some more recent ones, shockingly. I mean, they're like, what, 30 years old now? There's some more recent ones on their new albums, which I actually really, really enjoy. So, oh, god damn, what's on my workout playlist?
I've never heard a Korn song.
Really?
Yes, you have. Come on.
Yeah, you have.
I guarantee you've heard a Korn song.
Nope.
You've heard Freak on a Leash. You've heard Adidas. You've heard something. They've done like covers of like Brick in the Wall and
How
Yeah.
little I listen to music, Gaines. I truly do. Yeah, I assure you, I have not. None of these are ringing a bell to me.
Freak on a Leash is what got me in. Dead Bodies Everywhere is probably my favorite, and Make Me Bad is probably right behind it.
Oh, okay. Make Me Bad. Yeah, it's another one I'm sure you've heard somewhere, Travis, even accidentally. Dead Bodies Everywhere is a mosh pit song.
Oh well, then I've
which is,
definitely heard it.
I am picturing you.
Where would I hear
I'm
these?
picturing you in a mosh pit, Travis.
Yeah. What are they? What are they? What do you think? Where do you think? Like, what is a restaurant playing Korn? That doesn't seem like their vibe. I only know a little bit about them, but doesn't seem like songs you hear at a mall.
You guys want a serious lore dump? Or you can laugh at me. I'll give you ammunition to laugh at me.
Okay.
So when I was in my early 20s, I saw Korn in Orlando, and I get into the mosh pit. This is when Korn was at like their peak, so packed arena, get on the floor in the mosh pit, and it's pretty hype, right? It's getting really crazy. I'm drunk as hell, and so it's getting really violent. Shirt comes off. Almost all the guys don't even have shirts on at this point, right? Dude, as we're like getting ready to leave, some random dude just picks up my shirt off the floor because it fell out of my pocket and just launches it to the upper deck, like just throws it randomly. So then, like, it's not like I have a backup T-shirt, right? But I'm on a work trip of all things. So like I have to go back to my hotel and I have no shirt and I'm drunk as hell. I don't know where I am. This is at an age where there's no Uber, there's no Google Maps, there's no smartphone, right? So like I'm wandering down the main strip in Orlando. I stumble into a women's bathroom by accident. Security pulls me out. It was a disaster, man. So I won't talk about the rest of the night. But it was fun times.
I feel like I was going to ask a different lore dump question, but I feel like we should dive straight into there, which is like concerts that we have been to and maybe a story or an anecdote from them. So we know
I just gave you mine.
We know Ains has been to many Korn concerts and is a complete mess when he goes, which is great.
This was 20 years ago.
Luke, how about you?
I'm not a big concert goer. On
You look like you go to musicals.
No, I do not. Reluctantly, if my wife wants to go to a musical, I'll go. But no, I've not gone to a ton of concerts, but I have two good concert stories. The first, 17-year-old Luke convinced his parents that he could take the car and go to 2 cities away to Lincoln Park. Skip school, front row. This was Hybrid Theory. So it was Lincoln Park, POD, Story of the Year, and Hoobastank, right?
Wow.
Right. Just to give you the idea of the time period. And this is my first concert ever as like a person going to a concert, not where like my parents took me with me or took me with them rather. So get there super early, no clue what's going on. I'm on the Lincoln Park street team, so I get to like see stuff, whatever. But I get in there front row. And I just stay there, front row, like stacked up against the railing, because I have no clue what to expect. And for the next like 5 hours, I'm there. I got to go to the bathroom. Doesn't matter. And I am enthralled because it's like I've never heard music before. Here's a true lord. I don't hear music very well. Like I don't understand what they're saying half the time. I have to like look it up. And I was just, I fell in love with this like experience, but I never went back. It was the coolest thing ever. Mike Shinoda threw me his shirt. I wore it the other day. I have been wearing the same shirt for 20 some odd years that Mike Shinoda threw me. It was just the coolest thing. I was next to people that like always toured with Linkin Park. So like they would come up and they were like, "What's up, man?" Talking to these people next to me. And I'd be like, "Hi, Chester. High five." It was the coolest thing. So that is like one of my favorite core memories of life was seeing Linkin Park front row at their like as they broke into their mainstream, right? But it was cool seeing POD be there. Story of the Year is a band I'd never heard of. Fell in love with them. They were a great band. It was just fun. It was a good time. Good time.
That's good, man.
Dragged myself home, and the next day, like I was on a high for like weeks after that. It was the coolest thing.
Nice.
My other concert, my parents took me to a Backstreet Boys concert when I was young because I love the Backstreet Boys.
And we're back to normal.
Just to bring it back to normal.
Now that is more what I was expecting.
There you go. I got you.
Hear a Backstreet Boys story for you. You in the front run going.
I was so confused
Yeah.
because I thought Backstreet Boys were cool. So I get there and I'm surrounded by all these 12-year-old girls, and I'm just like, what is this?
You were cool.
I thought, and then my dad's sitting there like on the lawn chair, just like, God, kill me. And my mom's like, well, this is nice. And it was just, I had no clue what was happening. I was like, this is not what I expected this to be.
Mistakes were made.
Very much so. Very much so.
What did you think that meant about your sexuality that you were there? Did we have a little questioning, Luke?
That's a different
Lord
Lohr
dump,
dump, Travis.
Yeah,
That's a different
a
Lohr
little
dump.
Nice. Yeah, that's true. I shouldn't get into that.
I also like Savage Garden. Let me tell you that.
Don't know what that is.
Is this a euphemism?
No, that's a real band, the real thing. They were popular for 3 years.
I know. I'm kidding.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it was very strange. My musical backgrounds are very confusing. So
Very cool.
there's your Lohr dump for the day. I got you.
Very
Travis,
good.
what do you got? Tell us. Concert.
It will not be surprising to anyone that I have never been to a concert.
Never.
No, never.
It's really not surprising.
It's
Yeah,
not
you can
surprising, but I'm
definitely
like,
go.
I've been to like so many. Like
Yeah, I know.
Contrast
Most
is
people go to
hilarious.
concerts, but here's the thing: I don't like loud noise or crowds or fun things. So like, it's just not for me. I also don't
for
really
fun
listen.
things.
I don't really listen to many current recording artists, and I'll tell you this: I go to the opera. I quite enjoy the opera. I went to the opera one time when I can't really even remember what the situation was, but it was like not something I intended to go. And I ended up sitting in the back row and I fell asleep and had like a life-changing nap. I don't know if you've ever had like a life-changing nap where you're like, dude, that was the best sleep I've ever had in my life. It was like very tranquil. I was like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to buy like season tickets to the opera and I'm going to try to recapture that magic. So I did that. I went to the opera for like a year in San Francisco and I kind of fell in love with it. It's very beautiful. So there you go. I've been to the opera. That's as close as I've gotten to seeing a concert, and that's not very close at all. If you've ever been to the opera, it's like a lot of old people. It's like not the same vibe.
I'll defend Travis a bit. Going to the opera is an experience I think most people should have.
Oh,
You
I'm
should have
a
one.
big fan. Big fan.
Very,
Yeah, cool.
very powerful. I love.
Yeah,
that.
yeah. It's
Beautiful.
more emotional and powerful than you would think, for sure.
Right.
Yeah, it's
If
very
you're
beautiful.
not a regular. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, and also sometimes, you know, like with the different language, it means you have to like pay more attention to it. Like there's some like guessing and I don't know, it's a very different type of art. Not something I expected I would like, but I'm into it. So
yeah,
that's as close as I've gotten. And yeah. And
wow.
I don't know. I just don't have any interest. I can't think of anybody I'd like to go and hang out with a bunch of sweaty teens to go see.
God, I could do this for hours, man. I actually have all of my tickets, obviously when they were paper tickets, to every concert I've ever been to.
Wow.
So I have a stack. I mean, like I've been to
You're a
lot
hoarder.
of concerts. No, I just thought that was cool. Like I could talk about this forever. I went to the pop-up Metallica concert in Philly when they did a free concert raffle. Did you know about this? Back in the late 90s, they did a nationwide raffle of a city where they would go and play a concert in the parking lot for free and anyone could go. Metallica did. And Philadelphia won that. I don't know how they won. I don't remember, but I skipped work, went up there, me and my buddy partied all day with Metallica in the parking lot of Philly. I mean, I saw Static X, basically front row before Wayne Static died in a hole in the wall in New Jersey where all hell broke loose. I won't even get into that. I mean, all kinds of stories I could tell about concerts. It's just tons of them. I saw Rage Against the Machine in Philly when they were doing their last tour, when it was the Battle for Los Angeles, but they were changing it for every city they went to. So it was the Battle for Philadelphia. And they were talking about the radio host in Philadelphia that got killed by the cops from abuse. And just, I mean, I could go on and on. There's a lot of cool moments for concerts. Biggest regret, though, is I had Pantera tickets that my girlfriend bought me. I think I've told this story before. And when the concert night came, my buddy and I, who were going to go, were just like, we were hungover and we didn't feel really up to going to a concert. So I literally scalped them. And I never got to see Pantera again before Dimebag got shot. And so that's a big regret. But all right. This is a video game show, apparently.
Yeah.
So,
it's cool. I mean, it's good to see other sides. This is why the people like the Lohr dump, right?
Googleman, you got Yeah, you got your money's worth there, my friend. Thank you for the conversation. And yeah, we'll have to talk concerts more sometime. But oh boy, it's back.
The Globe is back. €2. Witness me. You all want me now. So true, Globe. We miss you. What happened?
The Globe is back. Is this a reference to the Indiana Jones Globe? Because I have the Indiana Jones steelbook behind me.
Yeah, it's the same guy who made the profile for the Globe last time and said, "Where am I? Where'd you put
Which
me?"
is comical. That was one of the best moments
This is
ever.
great. I mean, I'm surprised how many accounts are being created in order to, like, last week it was
TJ, anti-TJ.
Yeah, anti-TJ. Yeah. Also, it looks like your Globe has giant biceps coming out of him.
That is a muscular globe. Yeah, the world is strong.
Globe.
No doubt.
World is strong, isn't
it? Thank you, as always, for the laughs in the super chat. Appreciate you.
Tauzochi, $5 super chat. Sup chat, sup Bitcasters. As someone who's never played a Bethesda Game Studio game, should I even start one? What food cast should we have for Easter?
Oh no, we're going to go on another tangent.
As someone who's never played a Bethesda Game Studio game, should I even start one? Probably. I will say this. Bethesda games are almost never the best at anything. They do like a lot of stuff like well enough that it's interesting. That's kind of why Skyrim's interesting, is because it does like 50 things and it does all of them like pretty good. But the thing that Bethesda, I think, does better than pretty much anyone in the business is world building and lore. Like, if you have ever played an Elder Scrolls game, like, even if you're not really into the combat or the story, and by story, I mean like the main story that your main character is doing, you can pick up 60 books and read them, and you can learn the history of various places. And I mean, it gets incredibly deep, the level of world building they do. I think that they're probably best in the business when it comes to world building. Yeah.
Oh, and it's why their studio has such hardcore fan base, right? Like Fallout and Elder Scrolls have like a rabid fan base that are diehard to those universes. If you should play one, I don't know. Obviously, we're going to talk about Oblivion remaster leaking. Skyrim nowadays, Tao, there's so many mods and like so many updates to that game. You can play it like it's pretty much a modern game, even though it's
a little intimidating though.
It is. It can be. Yeah.
It's kind of its own ecosystem, like Roblox at this point.
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe let's see how Oblivion shakes out officially, and maybe that's one you can jump into. I don't know.
Yeah.
So
be nice.
I mean, Starfield's just sitting there, right?
What food cast should we have for Easter? Are there Easter foods? I'm not familiar with this holiday.
A lot of people do like an Easter roast or an Easter dinner. Yeah.
What are you roasting? Like a ham?
Like rabbits?
No. I mean,
you guys actually eat rabbits on Easter? Is that a real thing?
No, I always speak from it. No.
How would I know? I've never in my life even thought of Easter more than 2 seconds. Like,
when I say an Easter roast, I think English because that's how I grew up. So it would be a roast of beef.
Roast beef.
I went to visit my parents yesterday for Easter.
Not like roast beef like you think of American, but hamburgers on Easter.
Yeah, that's what we had yesterday at my parents' house. I went and visited them. And
I'm down with
it. Yesterday Easter or is today Easter?
I don't know. I'm not a Jesus person, but I do know that
you don't know when Easter is. It's today.
Happy Easter to those who celebrate. I do miss finding eggs. That was fun. My mom used to hide eggs. I like that.
Used to hide eggs?
Yeah, that was a thing. You do a little Easter egg hunt. That's a good time. That's a real thing, Travis. I'm not the crazy one.
I really don't.
No,
yeah. Either. That's a real thing, though.
You knew that, Travis. Come on.
No, I knew about the eggs. I just don't get it. Yeah.
Oh, I don't get it either. Nobody gets it.
I used to.
You just do it.
Why does a fat man come down a chimney for white people?
It's like everything else. Yeah, it's to get kids into the. Yeah,
religion.
Imagine pulling that at a diner. Like the lady goes up to you and she goes like, "How do you want your eggs?" And you're like, "Easter. Could you hide them for me?" And then you're walking around the restaurant.
Next time we're together, we go get food together. We're doing that.
We got to do that. Yeah. Easter and hide them from us. It'll be a lot of fun.
Looking forward to it. You hide them well.
Sir, this is a Wendy's.
Tip's going to be bigger.
Sir, this is the one. They don't serve eggs at a Wendy's. I'm talking about a diner, Luke. This is an IHOP. There we go.
Oh, man. Tao, thank you. You guys got us all off track this morning, and I love it. Appreciate you, Tao. Hope you're
30
doing
minutes
well.
into the show, we haven't talked about games.
Alex is here.
Yep. Alejandro Segovia, 199 super chat. He writes, only the penitent man shall pass. Penitent. Sorry. Referencing Indiana Jones, probably brought on by the existence of your globe.
Yeah, it's the third one.
Yeah.
Right?
The penitent.
That is the third one. Yes. Great one. I think my favorite, actually.
Agreed.
I'm going to go with Raiders.
Raiders? Yeah, you can't go wrong with Raiders or Crusade. I mean,
yeah,
they're both great.
Good. It's a good one.
Hard to argue, Sean
I just like seeing people's faces melt, though. That's really all I watch movies for. I'm just waiting for somebody's face to melt off. Like what did they make? An ice cream cake or something? And then they were sped it up. They made.
Oh, is that what it was? Yeah, I don't know.
They made like an ice cream or something.
That's awesome.
It's a good way to melt somebody's face.
Alex is playing Indiana Jones on PS5 Pro. So Indiana Jones released on PS5 this week, and a lot of new people enjoying it. So that's awesome. Love it.
Nice.
Thank you, Alex. Shout out to Vintage. Willow is back gifting 5 season gaming memberships, and Willow
Luke
says,
and I both got one.
I saw that. Yeah, that's crazy randomization.
I feel bad, but I can't control it. Can I put myself on an exclusion list so I don't get?
I think Willow just does it to support the channel, right? Which regardless of who gets it, it helps the channel, right? It pays.
He has been a member for 23
this.
months, and she writes, "A little late, but I'm here. Happy Easter."
Look at all these emotes I can do now.
Is Easter happy? It's not one of the sad holidays. Do Christians have sad holidays?
Do Christians have sad holidays? You're not really asking that, right?
Well, I mean, he comes back every time.
Jesus.
Yes, exactly.
Hey, who comes back? The bunny?
Jesus.
What? Okay, I'm not even gonna ask.
I'm not the one who should answer these questions on Angel's show. Just for the record.
I
can
answer them, but we're not going to. We're going to move on to games.
Why don't you want to talk about Jesus on our podcast?
You know what? Let's make it political.
No,
have you heard? Hogue isn't here. We could talk about whatever we want. I bet you he would know. He's a church guy, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, I know. I know all the details of it, but I don't want to talk about it.
Why not?
You know why. I want to shout out Vintage Willow last week too. So she wasn't here live, but she did $10 super chat post show. Said replay crew today, great show. So Willow, thank you very much. I wanted to shout that out. Always a big supporter of the channel. And then finally, Shoosh gifted 1 season gaming membership as well. Shoosh, shout out to Shoosh, who's not only a great supporter but takes care of our framing too, our logo and framing.
He also DM me in Discord pretty regularly. Random thoughts about games.
Do you want to share just random thoughts? Okay, cool.
Oh yeah, in my OnlyFans.
We also have, to wrap us up here, we have Tide's picks, of course, as always every week. I did let her know yesterday that Luke was going to be joining us, and she said she had already created the image today with me, Travis, and Hogue. So we have that first, and then we have a separate horrifying picture of Luke. So we'll start with ours here.
Oh God.
No hat for Hogue, though.
No hat for Hogue.
Oh man!
See, this is the closest AI has come to actually having Hogue look like what he actually looks like. This is as close as they've gotten.
I like this one, guys. I like this one.
It's good.
Honestly, are Easter eggs this creepy?
Maybe.
Why do an egg with hair on it? That just means like the bird's coming out. That's like a feather.
Yeah, yours looks like it's coming out. Hogue's looks like I don't know what happened there. But
no, I think it's like it's curled up in a ball, and now you're seeing like part of its back. You ever seen an egg? Or
okay, fair enough.
Little tufts come out. Yeah. I think AI thinks I don't have a lot of hair.
Apparently.
Well, it's also an egg.
That is a bald man's last refuse right there. I'm about on my last stitch of hair. Very funny.
I like that I always have a headset, regardless of shape. What I am,
yeah.
There's always a headset.
You're an egg with a headset, and I got big old glasses. It's good. It's good.
Oh
I like
boy.
that they painted my tie on.
Yeah, it's good. That's
I've always
good.
thought if I had to get a tattoo, I'd get a tie.
There you go. I think you should
you're
do it.
always wearing one.
And then let's top it off with Luke's egg, which is I'll let it speak for itself.
Wait, we got a Luke egg? Oh my god. That is horrifying.
I actually think it's quite dapper.
Why do our faces look like they're painted on and his looks like he has a nose?
He looks like
I
he
feel
is
like you
the
could
egg.
touch the nose on the egg. Like it's just an egg-shaped face.
Oh my god.
I kind of like it.
I don't know. Look, you have a lazy eye.
This is his new PFP.
Oh, I do.
Yeah, you do have a lazy eye, just like in real life.
Yeah.
It's true. It's true. It doesn't
Also,
come through
your
on video,
smile
but
is
he
just
does have a
little
lazy
bit
eye.
too wide, by the way.
Yeah, Joseph Moran in chat is requesting this picture. Feel free to send it to him.
I will. I will. Yes, we
He's
will.
like,
take
I'm
it.
happy to have this as my profile pic. He's
It's
like,
quite nice. I appreciate the inclusion.
I always try to catch Tide before a guest comes on nowadays. So thank you, Tide, as always.
Good times.
All right. That is a hell of an intro for today. So you got a lore
Pretty
dump
nice
and all
one.
kinds of extra stuff. But why don't we actually talk about some games? So I figure we'll talk about what we've been playing. I do have a couple things to mention. I'm going to kick us off with Rematch. So if you don't know what Rematch is, it is the new game from Slow Clap, the makers of Sifu, but a very, very different type of game. So they are going after the easiest reference here is Rocket League. People have, kind of joke. It's like, well, it's soccer or football. Why is it Rocket League? But it's very similar in setup. So it is. And Luke, I think you may actually really get into this given your soccer roots, if you will.
Yeah.
So it is a arcade style, Rocket League style game of soccer or football. It is indoor. There's no out of bounds. There's no, there's no kind of stoppages, if you will. It's just full action. It's either 4-on-4 or 5-on-5, at least in beta form right now. And it's like it's very fast paced, pass to each other, and you can kind of there's no offsides, there's no set positions, like it's just open field, pass, shoot, score type thing. And their goal, right, is to create kind of a skill gap like in Rocket League, where it obviously separates rookie players from really experienced players. If you don't know, Rocket League has a very, very popular pro league. It is a hugely popular game. And so that's what Slow Clap's going for here. So I was fortunate enough to get into the beta. I was playing a few matches on Friday on actually my way home, traveling home from traveling this week. And really, really digging it already. The controls are definitely take some getting used to, but that's a good thing, right? So you can pick up and play, but to get good at the game is going to be pretty challenging. And I'm really excited. I've seen some clips of the people who have been playing this for a while now, and like how fast paced and how good some people are already getting at it. And it creates some really, really impressive clips. So if you haven't seen this, check it out. It actually releases in June. It is going to be a paid title. I think either a $20 or $40 game, but I believe, someone can correct me, I believe it is also going to launch on Game Pass and or PlayStation catalog. So you can double check that. But, we've seen a few other games kind of come and go and try to capitalize on similar to Rocket League's success. Rocket League was kind of a lightning in a bottle type thing. But just from playing this, I really like it. And I think it's going to have an audience. The people who are playing it, everything I've seen about the other people playing it have really, really liked it. Really fun pick up and play game. So either of you interested in this, checking it out or not really?
Hey, I'll try it.
I am interested in this one for a couple reasons. One, I think Rocket League it's perfected its gameplay with the caveat that I do not enjoy when people get too competitive in it, right? Like when you get mixed matched with the wrong people, that can really damage the enjoyment for a game like that. But Slow Clap has done a great job with Sifu, and then seeing that Rocket League type approach, I am here for it. The part that makes me wonder, is this for me, is just how playable is it going to be? Is it going to be fast and simple to go through once we're engaged in multiplayer? I love that it's on Game Pass and PlayStation catalog because it means people can try it and go into it. Yep. If it is as fun as it looks like it could be, if my group gets into it, I'm so excited for it because I would just lose hours in this. My favorite soccer game of all time in video game form is Mario Strikers, the first one on GameCube. It's fast, frenetic, not a ton of rules, didn't have waggle controls like its sequel. It was just fun. And so if it's just fun, then yeah, I'm here for it. I think it could be a really good time. So call me cautiously optimistic and grateful once again for Game Pass and subscription services that provide games like this.
Yeah, I think so. The nice thing already, right? Even in beta form, it already has custom matches, so you could just play with your friends. But I think what they're going to have to capitalize on, which Rocket League has done well, right, is make pure fun modes. Like Rocket League has like ice hockey and basketball and goofy modes, right, just for pure fun. And then they have really, ranked competitive stuff, right, for the people who want to get sweaty. So I think if they make that separation well in this game, it could do well, because then you're capturing both audiences, which we've talked about quite a bit. But yeah, it is. In the first match, I was already kind of dribbling and passing and shooting. I wasn't good, but you're able to play it pretty quickly. And there's a tutorial, and they show you how to do things, and it's really intuitive. So,
do you think it has the upper limit that Rocket League has?
Rocket League has. I'm not sure yet. I was talking yesterday to some friends, because if you've never seen like pro Rocket League, it is bonkers. Like how good those guys are. It's insane. And
I had a friend who was really, really good at Rocket League, and I was like, man, you're like amazing at this game. And he was like, yeah, I think I'm going to hire somebody to train me. And I was like, what? And he like paid this guy to do like hour sessions with him every week to like make him even better. And he would like share his footage of him playing the game, and the guy would like give him notes and like teach him even more advanced techniques. And it was just crazy to see, as somebody who was like, this was a coworker, and I was known in like the office as like the guy who played games, and this was somebody who was like way, way deeper than me on one specific game, and he had like no awareness of any other game. It was like just Rocket League. It was very fascinating to see like just how deep that rabbit hole goes with one specific game. Like people get so into that game. It's really crazy.
It really does. So I don't know if it's going to, because what really separates the best players in Rocket League, right, beyond the obvious stuff in a competitive 3-on-3 game, is the ability to control the car throughout the air, right, and control the ball as you're passing and maneuvering that and hitting it properly. I don't know if this has that same kind of height in terms of skill gap, but we'll see. It does have like all kinds of trick moves and dribbling and like kicking it back over your head to make people miss you. And so it's got a bunch of stuff like that, but I don't know how high it's going to go. I think that's probably the task for Slow Clap to figure out.
I do want to just shout out Rick Davis briefly. He is a diehard Rocket League fan, so much so that he's going to the Rocket League championships the way we would the Halo Championship Series. Like, that's awesome.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, he's right. So Rick says Rocket League is the single best example I've seen of easy to learn, outright impossible to master. And that's pretty true. Like, it is shocking how good those pro players are. Like, I've gotten pretty good at Rocket League, like I'd say middle of the road, right? Like we get up into diamond, right, and ranked. But like, you get a player or a team that's like a high diamond, or once you get into champions and even higher, and they just embarrass you. Like, they make you look like you don't even know what you're doing, right? Like you've never played the game.
Right.
They're that good.
It's quite wide.
Yeah. So anyway, check it out. They are having an open beta, or not open, excuse me. It's a closed beta, but you can apply for codes, and they're sending out codes pretty regularly, and it is on console and Steam as well. So I played on Steam, but I think they have console codes going out this week. So check it out if you're interested.
You're an open beta. Got it.
Oh, Ains, what do you got to say to that?
Dude,
it's tough. I don't think I can combat that one. I'm going to need some time.
Well, if you need counsel, I went to a Backstreet Boys concert, so I'm ready to come back.
Yeah.
Speaking of open
the type
betas,
of stuff you might be going through as an open beta.
What you guys been playing, man? Luke, hit me with something.
Oh man, so I wrapped up several games of late. I wrapped up South of Midnight. And
you didn't like South of Midnight, and I'm here to make you feel bad about it.
Well, I will tell you,
you really are a Hogue replacement.
I actively do feel bad about it, though. I actually spoke. We were fortunate enough to have Lord Cognito on XEP yesterday.
Cool.
And it's funny because on paper, South of Midnight is my game. It's short. It's on the shorter side. It's linear, very direct. And I say this endearingly, PS2 era gameplay. I love that. I love those things. And we were talking with Cog about it, and I feel so bad that I didn't like it because I believe the fault is my own. I was in a very bad headspace. I'd had a very difficult week at work, and a lot of the parallels of trauma that go on in South of Midnight like I was dealing with and helping people through at school with students. And so, if you're unfamiliar, South of Midnight has a ton of trauma that these characters go through, and it's very well written. It's a beautiful game, particularly in the second half of the game when you get a lot of the greens and the kind of the magical colors start showing up. I really did enjoy the second half of the game a great deal. I love Hazel as a character. I love the audio design, the art. There's so much that I love about this game, but I was, one, I think, emotionally hurting as I was playing it. But two, I would run into invisible walls a lot, which not a lot of people seem to in a lot of the coverage. When I would be trying to explore and get all the collectibles, I'd bump into things, or I'd encounter traversal problems or things that I just felt like weren't quite polished enough. And it led me to being the guy that swims in sevens, loves AA games, loves a lot of this style game, just being jaded on it. And I actively do feel bad for not loving South of Midnight when on paper it's everything I like. And I look back on it and I'm like, I love this, I love this, I love this, I love this. Why don't I look back fondly on my experience with it? And I think it has a lot to do with
racist. Yeah.
Oh God. That's the caution. That's the worry about when you talk about this game, actually.
Yeah. No, dude, I get it, dude. You're racist. It's fine.
No, you know what? Never mind.
He almost pulled out I would have voted for Obama a third time.
But I think it speaks to the headspace that sometimes we're in that can leave a mark on an experience that is almost no fault of the experience. And so that's the part that I want to, yeah, I think that's what happened with me, because I look back and I'm like, I don't like that game. And then I evaluate my own stance and I'm like, wait, I love so much about this game. Why am I not happy? And I think it had to do with me, not the game.
Got to look inside, my friend.
Yeah, that Bungie story broke me.
Yeah, it's interesting because I really did think you were going to really like that one. And, I talked already the past couple of weeks about loving it. Hogue really disliked the gameplay, but liked the other aspects of it, right, that get more applause. The argument I was making, Luke, and I don't know if you agree or disagree, but the argument I was making about South of Midnight is I'm playing that game for the art, for the narrative, for the characters, right? Mm-hmm. The music, everything it does extremely well. My argument was, yes, the combat is repetitive. Yes, the battle arenas are repetitive, but that's not why I'm playing the game anyway. So while I do count that as a detractor, right, in the overall experience, it didn't really detract from the game itself for me. Like, I still really, really love that game. I think if the combat is a focus on the game, then it's a different story. But for me, it didn't bother me at all, really. Very little, I should say.
I wonder if you have a similar thought. I would have thoroughly enjoyed the combat more in the early part of the game had the cooldowns not been there. When I could have just explored her abilities and powers. Once you level up her abilities, you get to play with the combat a lot more. There's more you can do. And had that been kind of a steadfast element early on, I think I would have had more fun. I really do. I really do.
It is a lot more fluid in the late game.
Correct. Yeah. And to add a caveat, I had just come off of 90 hours or so in Assassin's Creed Shadows, which I loved. I had come off Avowed, which I loved. And I forget what other game I had been playing in between that all had just peak polished combat that was just smooth. And so I think that also hurt my impression of South of Midnight's combat.
Fair enough.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Have you gotten to South of Midnight yet, Travis? I know you've been covering kind of like knee deep in other stuff, but
yeah, I have not even turned it on, man. Yeah,
sucks. Hopefully soon. It's not a long one, so
I have a group in the Xbox. You can group games together, whatever those things are called. And what's called priority backlog, and that's on it. So it's like that Split Fiction I have to finish. Kingdom Come Deliverance still working my way through. Kazan I'm like at the end of.
Nice.
And South of Midnight is on that list. So I always complete every game that's on that list. So I'm gonna get to it. Really do want to play it.
Okay. Yeah, I was I was traveling this week, so I didn't play a whole lot, but the game I played most of was probably Kazan. I continue to really enjoy that game, dude.
It might be one of my favorite Souls likes.
I would agree with you. I'm
Yeah.
really, really liking it. I'm at the point now past where, you unlock the blacksmith and you go to the new region. So I'm not nowhere near the end, but, I have progressed several more bosses, that type of thing. But like, I love how you can like unlock the blueprints to actually make specific sets, right? And then kind of randomize. It's almost kind of got that Diablo, like you can like craft
It
randomized
feels
set
so
pieces.
good to play.
And it's just like when you hit the whatever build you go into, right, from your different weaponry, but when you hit all those kind of combos and the timing of the blocks and the counters and like, oh my god, it's just so smooth. Like I went back and played Lords of the Fallen 2 recently, and I really love that game. Like and they've continued to update it, which is fantastic. But from a pure gameplay perspective, like how it feels to actually do the combat in the game, Berserker is leagues ahead of it. It's leagues ahead of it.
No contest. It's so much better.
So
yeah, I remember last time. I can't remember what game I reviewed, but it was like a Souls like that wasn't very good, and then I went and played
Steel Rising. Was it Steel Rising? Because that was a Souls like I did not really enjoy. It's that French one where you're like not robot.
Oh yeah.
Like
no, that was
mechanical.
another one. I'm talking about recently where Hogue asked me if me playing like a not great Souls like and then going to Kazan made me like it more. I think was his like he was asking about that. I can't remember what Souls like it was, but I review a lot of Souls like, so who even knows? Oh, it was AI Limit.
Oh, right. Yeah. You didn't like that one.
Game,
yeah.
And I just got done reviewing another Souls like. I finished it yesterday, and then I had like a couple hours left in the day, and I was like, oh, I'll play some Kazan, something I'm already like into. And it was like crazy how much I was just like, oh God, thank you. Like I'm so glad to be back playing this, because the game I just reviewed, I can talk about it because the game's already out, but it's Mandragora, Whispers of the Witch Tree.
Yes, okay. We're reviewing that right now. Actually, we got it a little late.
Yeah, I think other people probably like it more than I do. I got through it in about 25 hours, and it just didn't really connect with me. The combat is quite like trivial, pretty monotonous. They make you fight like the same bosses like 6 or 7 times, and there's not a lot of bosses in the game. It's just one of those things where like every boss has like 3 or 4 attacks. And so it's like once you learn them, you're like, all right. Yeah, and you're just like, okay, dodge left, hit 2 times, dodge right, hit 2 times. It's just like, all right, man, this is killing me. So that review will be up tomorrow probably.
Okay. Yeah, Lewis is playing that for us right now, actually. I have seen good things about it, but no, I haven't played it. Rick Davis asked about Anatria, the last song. Yeah, so Rick, months ago, I actually talked about Anatria and covered it a little bit on the show. So I actually really like that one. I think it's an underrated one. It's not as fluid as Berserker. Actually, to be honest, few of games are. Berserker's silly fluid. But Anatria is really good. It has a unique setting. It has some unique ideas, and it has some pretty good exploration and stuff too. Like I do recommend, if you like Souls likes and you like Liza P, check out Anatria. It's a good entry in that space. So
it's cool. Yeah, I missed that one.
Yeah, it's cool, man. And
did we review it?
Did you guys review it? I'm not sure. It was in like the 7s and 8s in terms of review scores. I checked it out at Summer Game Fest last year. It's the one that Kyle had at his booth, Luke, when we were there.
Mm-hmm.
And then the PR group actually sent me a little box on it, which was really cool.
Yeah,
I rarely get that kind of stuff, or hardly ever. But I definitely checked it out, and it's cool, man. It's one I actually want to go back to because I never finished it.
IGN gave it a 7. Just totally.
Yeah, it was 7s and 8s. Yeah, 7 and 8s. I'd probably, I mean, I'm not through it, so I can't say, but I'd lean closer to an 8 than a 7 for that game, but I can see a 7. It makes sense.
Can I briefly just acknowledge your two's contribution? I enjoyed Last Berserker Kazan's demo tremendously. It was you.
I was going to ask you.
Yeah, you two talking about it not last week, but I think it was the week prior. Mm-hmm. When you mentioned that it had been patched to be easier, and then there was a difficulty mode that lets you drop to easy, but still lets you experience the game.
Yep.
that was like, oh, I must go in there and play it. And so I downloaded the demo, played through the demo, loved the demo, truly. Interestingly, you cannot drop it to easy until after you beat the Yeti, which is fascinating.
Funny.
That's the first level. That's not bad though. That's not
It's
fun.
not bad if you're.
I think
good
it's
at-
because they want you to try it on normal and try to like convince you can take it.
right.
Yeah, and the Yeti is. I even struggle calling him a skill check because compared to the second level boss, which is the end of the demo, the Yeti's very easy.
The Blade Phantom.
Yeah.
Oh, they're both
What
pretty
I-
easy though.
Well, I'm
Alright,
talking,
Travis.
again,
Come
me
now.
and you are on the other spectrum here.
Oh, we're on the spectrum, all right.
Anyway, Luke, I was going to ask you, so you like the demo a lot. It has an easy mode. Did you
Mhm.
buy the full game?
I did not buy the full game on account of having so much to play at the moment.
Okay.
That's why this will be a game I pick up down the line for sure. I
Okay.
really did enjoy it. I did something I don't normally do, which was skip every cutscene. That is not a thing I normally
How dare
do.
you.
Whoa.
I
How
know.
dare you?
The funny thing about it is I have this strange reputation at XCP because I get frustrated when story lasts too long, like in Assassin's Creed Shadows, where like my screen would literally go into screensaver mode because the cutscenes were so long. We're talking like Kojima level exposition. Or I'm like annoyed that there's not enough story, and it's I feel like I don't portray the right amount of balance. But when it comes to the aesthetic that Kazan inhabits, like the JRPG-esque design, anime design, I don't know what the right words are. That doesn't make me sound like an awful person. I don't like that, and so I'll skip that all day. I have no interest in that particular aesthetic. But I really loved the gameplay. I truly enjoyed it, and so I am going to go back to it. The irony is that Ains, some 20 minutes ago, you asked me what else I've been playing. In preparation for Doom: The Dark Ages, I just finished up John Romero's sequel to his sequel, which is Sigil 2. Have you ever heard of this?
Yes, I did see that. I haven't played it, but I did see it. Yep.
It's something.
Good.
But yes, very good, but it's made for Doom hardcore. Like it's hard to recommend because it's just not approachable.
Is it good? Yeah. It's good.
It's so strange because there have been I don't know how to describe this without it sounding strange. Sigil is the sequel to Doom 1. Sigil 2 is the sequel to Sigil, but it's the extension of the original Doom in that original design, not Doom 2. It's like a filler story in between, but it goes outrageous in terms of its design, and the fact that it's built in that engine is incredible. So like John Romero literally just what he did with those original tools to make this new experience is fascinating, but the complexity is high. It's confusing. The difficulty is very high, and it's just strange. But I laugh at myself because I'm sitting here like I loved the story of Assassin's Creed Shadows, but it was a lot. I skipped all the story in Berserker. I liked the story in South of Midnight, and then it's Doom, which like there's no story. You're just shooting stuff, and it's just funny to me, like the path that I've been on at this moment. But it's been interesting to go down the rabbit holes. So.
Yeah, I would definitely recommend going back to Berserker. Obviously, it's not going anywhere. There's so many games to play, but I agree with Travis that like in terms of Souls likes, not only is it top tier, right, from a non-from game in gameplay, but it is also more accessible than some of the other ones, which is a good combination for people like yourself that aren't as big on from games as maybe we are.
I would agree, and I will say one more thing on that aspect. It does something that Elden Ring allowed, which really helped me through Elden Ring. You can grind.
Oh yeah,
you can grind to level yourself up and essentially have an easier experience if you're willing to put in the time. That helped me get through Elden Ring because I have 150, 70 hours in Elden Ring.
Kazan's even easier.
You're just starting?
Kidding. Come on now.
Kazan's even easier because you can grind just by dying to the same boss over and over
Yes.
again. Like it doesn't feel
which is an
completely
awesome
useless.
feature, by the way.
Yeah, it's a really great feature.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so for someone like me who is not talented but enjoys it, like you can get those little level ups and make it easier for yourself if you're willing to put in the time as well. So again, making that genre more approachable while keeping the main core essence and being of that genre, I think is wonderful. So credit to Elden Ring for doing that, Kazan for doing that. Like you, Ains, the Lords of the Fallen, the second one, I really enjoyed that game. A lot of cheap deaths in that one, but that grind is there as well. I like that because I've found that I do enjoy the Souls-like genre. It's just I'm not good at it, so I have to find little caveats and ways to get through it. So
I really like in Kazan too how they have. So I like where your what is it, Lacrima, your souls basically are outside the boss room when you die, which are really good, right? I think that's cool, and I they do a really good job with their checkpointing too, in terms of like where they have the things that you bind with. I forget what they're called, but where they have those, there's usually like a bigger enemy right nearby. So again, to that, like if you just want to be like, I need 5,000 more Lacrima to level, you can just quickly kill him, respawn him, kill him, and you'll get loot as well, like the randomized loot. I really love because you'll randomly just get a better weapon or armor piece to your set or whatever as well. So yeah, it's really well designed. I would love if it had bigger, more explorative levels. That's like Neo. I've complained about that before. That's probably my one gripe with it, but the rest of it I'm really loving. So
that's a good point. They are pretty linear levels. I guess I just don't really notice the combat.
Yeah, it's not necessarily a detriment. I think it would just be the opposite. Like it could be better. You know what I mean? I do like their little mini bosses too when the screen
with their open world.
Well, even like Souls 3, right? Like it's just like they're big regions you can kind of go different directions on. I like the mini bosses you fight when like the world goes cold, you know, and like there's a boss that has like extra health and you can get like you can level up
elite
your
enemy defeated.
Elite enemies, yeah, those are really cool too. So either of you play more of Blueprints? Any interest in this? No.
Really cool game. It's on the list, dude. It's on the list.
All right, fair enough. I played a little more. I know we talked about it last week. Not my type of game, so I'm probably not going to continue with it, especially with everything else out.
Hopped off it. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I did a few more runs, and I was like, okay, I get what it's going for. Obviously, I don't know the secrets. I haven't looked it up. I know people are obsessed with it, but it's just not my type of thing, which is fine. So
I'm into it. I definitely want to finish that as well. My chances of finishing that one are slightly less than, South of Midnight, but it's still on the list.
I saw Rebecca Valentine talking yesterday that she had rolled credits on it, but like she can't stop playing it. And she was talking about how now there's unsolved mysteries still that the community is like trying to figure out and work together. That's cool. I love seeing stuff like that in games.
Yeah, that's definitely a Rebecca Valentine game.
Fair enough. I got a Hogue note I want to pick up while Hogue's not here to mention. Not his type of game, I don't think, but regardless, a little indie game. So Look Outside. I mentioned this last week. Our review is up for this. It is a single developer horror game, throwback horror game. It's $10 on Steam. And you can check out the review. I won't talk too much about it, but we gave it an 8. It is scoring quite well with the small group of reviewers that have reviewed it. And what's interesting about this is the developer did live streams where he was developing the game. So he kind of developed it in collaboration with the community. And it apparently has turned out very, very well. So again, people really liking this game. It's overwhelmingly positive reviews on Steam. And if you like those little kind of throwback horror games, in kind of like an isometric 2D fashion with kind of pixel-based graphics, it's done quite well so far.
Will you share the name once more? Please.
Look Outside. You can see it's on our homepage. If you go to SG, we have a video review up as well that Ray did because he really, really liked it. But he talks about how it was developed and why he liked it. So you can check that out. Yeah. Any other games, guys, before we jump over to Oblivion chatter that you want to mention?
Schedule 1.
You talked about that last week.
Mm-hmm.
Did you? So you got a review finished?
My review's finished. You should go and read or watch it. But I put a lot of time into that game. It's a fun game.
You still playing it?
It's a cozy game where you sell drugs. It's great.
Have you seen this one, Luke?
No, I don't even understand the verbiage. Can you say the name once more?
Schedule 1 is in Schedule 1 drugs.
Oh, okay. I was right. Yeah. I was right. Okay. That's what I thought you said.
Yeah. Schedule 1. Yeah. It's a early access game on Steam, but it is a uber low budget cozy game wherein you manufacture and distribute crystal meth and cocaine. It's good times.
Okay, I'm looking at this. This looks atrocious. Why? This is something you did for work. No? Why did you play this?
Yes, but also it's a good game. You should check
Is
it out.
it?
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm watching the trailer. This looks different than what the screenshot suggested.
I saw that too, and
You want to read that one, Travis?
That's a sentence I never thought that I'd see someone say about a video game. I just unlocked Coke last night.
honestly, it's kind of a grind to get to Coke. So good on you, man. Take your time. Remember to automate and use the brick press. It's important to press your Coke into bricks.
Yeah, you got to optimize, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And by the way, Travis doesn't cook meth. TJ does.
Fair.
Yeah.
Very fair.
Yeah.
That should have been the name of my character. Damn it, missed opportunity.
That's cool, though. I'm glad.
The trailer.
And apparently, it's done extremely well. Like, tons of people were playing that game. Like, the sales were through the roof, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, it blew up. Honestly, IGN was not going to review it at all. And then it was so popular online that we were like, somebody needs to cover this. Travis is the guy who reviews weird shit.
Travis looks like he'd make meth.
Yeah, exactly.
He wouldn't use it.
He'd
make it.
For sure would make meth.
Yeah.
Make it, distribute it. Yeah.
Come on, dude.
Breaking
the glass looks fun. A little hammer.
Oh man.
I do that.
Look at Luke's face. Oh,
I don't have a response. Ains, is this an okay time to talk about the Doom stuff, or do you want me to wait on that one?
Yeah, go ahead.
Where you talked about like what else we were playing, and I've been playing the Doom 1 and 2 collection to do that. I want to shout that out because it's just such a great collection by Night Dive Studios. Like they did a great job with it. Boy, this is a strange transition from meth.
Not as strange as you think.
Fair.
Wait, do you see the meth they have on Mars?
Yeah.
The Xbox came out with like essentially like hardware, like limited edition controllers and a console wrap for Doom the Dark Ages. Yeah. And so as I've been playing through this, it was up, and then 2 days later at my house, like I snagged it. This is the limited edition controller.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Truly beautiful.
Cool.
Truly beautiful. I did not spring for the Elite because we're saving for SGF and such. But as somebody who's just diehard Doom, beautiful controller, absolutely loved it. And then I don't know how you guys feel about console wraps, but in an age of tariffs and consoles being expensive, I did snag the console wrap for Doom, which I thought was very, very pretty, but it feels like a step up.
They're really nice.
Yeah,
they're really nice.
The inside is beautiful.
If you don't know what this is, by the way, for people, the uninitiated maybe. So the Series X being its tower, right? Xbox has made a few wraps, and they're these magnetic, high quality. They're really nice. And they basically just literally wrap around your console. Yeah. They use magnetics to just stay together, and it just looks like a different console. So instead of your black Series X, I have a Starfield Series X. Luke has Dark Ages. I know they've done at least one or two more. They did a Call of Duty one, if I recall correctly, a Black Ops one.
The one with the wolves.
With the wolves on it, right?
The dogs.
Yeah, dogs, wolves, bark, whatever.
Whatever.
But yeah, they're really nice. They're really good quality, and I think they're $20-$30, something like that.
No, it was
$60,
55, 60 in there. But I will say, having been a doubter and then seeing the quality of this one, it makes so much sense because like Doom is one of those special franchises. Doom, Halo, Batman, Gears. Those are probably my jam. I couldn't afford a $550 tower. I'm pointing to my tower like you guys can see it. I couldn't afford a $550 console.
Custom console, yeah.
Right? Like that's not gonna happen. But this is wonderful. This is
it's a good option
to have. Again, saving for SGF. Didn't want to get the collector's edition with the statue. But I do love my statues, right? Like I have my Revenant and such. But this is a wonderful, again, in-between element. So that's neat. I do really dig Doom. I have a couple steel books, which are quite nice, actually. Like the Doom Anthology one, beautiful. You know, just simple. The old school Doom 2016, lovely. Never got Eternal. Wish I had Eternal.
Eternal has 2, and the really cool one is actually done by Mondo. So if you don't know who Mondo is like a famous kind of company that does a whole bunch of art with artists and stuff for movies and stuff. But they have a Mondo Doom Eternal steelbook. It's up on the wall. I'll grab it in a second, but it's amazing.
I'd love to see it. With the anthology came the BFG though, like the little BFG, but it's so small and kind of cheap looking. It wasn't really worth it. But to get the steelbook for anthology was nice. Anywho, I just thought the wraps were worth people. They all abandoned me. Cute. I thought, in a world where everything, pinching pennies, this is a wonderful option to have for fans. I wish Xbox would do more of these. I hope we see something like this for Gears E-Day. I wish they had done one for South of Midnight. The option to have these is a great way to enjoy the franchise or something that you love. Go to hell. But it would have been a fun way to do it, to showcase it. No, it's fine. I can take over Bitcast. Skull and Bones, folks. Skull and Bones.
You're hosting now.
I'm gonna
You're
go
hosting.
off camera and just see what he does. That was awesome.
Oh my god. That's the normal Doom Eternal one. Don't mind this. This is how I hang it up on the wall. So don't mind that. That's the normal one. And then this is the Mondo one that has the actual artwork that was custom done by the artist for Doom Guy.
Oh man, that's beautiful.
Yeah,
I am awesome. Intensely jealous of that.
So you can find them online. They're probably a little pricey now, but you can find them.
Doom Slayer.
Anyway, that's cool, man. I'm pumped for Dark Ages. I think it looks incredible. So definitely pumped for it.
You're pumped for the Dark Ages. Is a very funny sentence.
I mean, I might as well prepare for them now at this rate. We're getting there.
That's
so.
I have a goal of interviewing Hugo Martin, the head of Doom, basically. Just because after talking to Romero and then I'm trying to talk to Night, just because Doom is this Doom era from 2016 to Eternal to Dark Ages, it's alive and well. And how often do you see a franchise peak and then peak again? Right?
Yeah, it's reinvented itself.
Truly, and I think that can't be undersold how cool that is. So that's a really cool element for me.
Yeah, awesome. All right, boys. Let's let me see here. Good on that. All right. Let's talk about Oblivion. So Oblivion, if you're not familiar, I'm sure everyone in the world has seen this by now, but Oblivion Remaster has leaked. All signs point to it releasing this week. In fact, people were actually using the Xbox support automated assistant or virtual assistant and asking it questions, and the Xbox support virtual assistant confirmed that it's releasing on April 21st, which would be tomorrow as we're recording this.
Yep.
So all signs point to it releasing this week as a shadow drop. And if you haven't seen the leaked images, obviously one is the thumbnail this week from a key art perspective, but there are some images of the game itself, and I'll tell you guys, this looks like beyond a remaster, at least from the images. Now, of course, Oblivion came out 2006, so we're going back nearly 20 years. But I'm pretty excited about this. I think Travis and I have talked about Elder Scrolls quite a bit on the show, and Oblivion wasn't my favorite Elder Scrolls. I had a few complaints with Oblivion, but there's no denying that its impact when it released, especially for the 360, right? It was kind of a moment in time for the 360. So I'm pretty hyped to see this come back. I know, obviously, as we talked earlier, Elder Scrolls has a rabid fan base. Whether you like it or not is kind of, irrelevant to the bigger conversation that there are millions and millions of people who adore Elder Scrolls and will be all over this. So my big hope with whatever this is from a remake perspective is that they obviously update some of the mechanics. Those are going to be dated. But there's some other design decisions in that game that used to annoy me. Like you could just easily cheat your attributes, right? Stuff like that was easy to do. The Oblivion gates were fine. They were very repetitive after a while, going into those, and the scenery and the level design was pretty repetitive. But we'll see. So I guess what I want to ask is, one, what's your hype level for this? Are you going to go back and play Oblivion again? Is that a game that you really liked? And two, why now? Why are we getting an Oblivion remake of all things at this moment in time when we know that Elder Scrolls 6 was announced several years ago now, is way, way kind of overdue and still years away probably. Why now? Why put resources on this?
Trav, you want to go? Or you want me to go?
Yeah, I'll go. I will definitely be playing Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remaster. when it comes out.
Very factual statement.
Yes, I'll
Because
definitely
they
be saying
leaked the
playing
name.
it. I really liked Oblivion. I obviously was a big Morrowind fan. That was like my first, like, I think I was in middle school when I first played that game. I was very young, impressionable. So that game had a huge impact on me. I probably played it for like years. And when Oblivion came out, I think that was the first Elder Scrolls game that I was like old enough or into gaming enough to like remember its launch. Like I remember playing that game like the day it came out and just getting like super deep into it as a high schooler. I have every achievement in Oblivion. I love that
Oh,
game.
wow.
I remember pretty much everything about that game, whether it's the Daedric quests and which character level that they unlock at and which order to do them in. I remember where all those statues are. I remember everything about this game. And I don't know why now, frankly, but I'm stoked. It sounds like the idea was, so I've read some reporting on this. Apparently the idea was we'll just update the graphics and release it, and then it could just be like a little side project we work on in the background. And then they started doing that, and then they realized that they actually wanted to update a few things, and then a few things became quite a lot of things. And so it kind of went from a remaster to almost a remake. I would say it's probably in between like a proper remake and a remaster, just based on the reporting. And that is interesting to me. I don't know how much they're going to actually change versus just update, but it seems like it's going to be more than just, hey, we, up-resed it to 4K.
Yeah,
It's
definitely
also
looks like it.
Yeah, it's in a new engine, which is obviously going to have some changes to the back end. And yeah, I'm interested to see how this turns out, if it is indeed real.
Okay. Yeah, someone a couple of comments before we get to you, Luke. So donuts to dollars gaming, I like that. Said I would submit that many people probably haven't played Oblivion, and the Elder Scrolls universe has a huge storyline. People commenting basically like Skyrim is obviously what a whole generation at this point probably
Yes.
thinks is Elder Scrolls.
Yep.
And if you can kind of take them to the previous entry, but on a modern engine, modern graphics type thing, then you may have another big seller on your hands for what would be a good ROI in terms of probably development, right?
I remember thinking when Oblivion came out, like, oh, this is finally the Elder Scrolls game that broke through and became like popular, because it was so much more popular
Yes.
than Morrowind. It was like
It was.
huge. But we didn't know that actually it had barely scratched the surface, and Skyrim was going to be the game that actually became like a mainstream thing. And so now Oblivion feels so small, but compared to Morrowind, man, I mean, no one I knew played Morrowind. Like, you could say, have you guys played this game Morrowind? It's awesome. And they'd be like, shut up. What are you talking about? But Oblivion is at least like a known quantity. And I will say Morrowind is too nerdy to sell. Like, if they couldn't remake Morrowind, they would have to redo pretty much every concept.
You'd have to
of the game,
remake it
because
conceptually.
you'd have to completely remake it from the ground up, because it is just too technical and nerdy and different and weird to make a main like game and sell it to people. And so the thing I like about Oblivion, because I think it does get a bad rap, it's kind of the dark horse of it's the black sheep rather of the series, because Skyrim is so simplified. It can be sold to like a mainstream audience, and Morrowind is too technical and complicated to be sold to main audience. And so the thing I like about Oblivion is it's kind of in the middle. It's not nearly as like streamlined and polished as Skyrim, and it's not as janky as Morrowind, and it's kind of right in this weird teenage puberty stage of RPGs. In that it does some things that are super bizarre, and you're like, whoa, why did they put that in the game? And then other stuff like the combat and some of the graphics are more mainstream. And so I think it's going to be very interesting replaying this after 20 years and just seeing how much has changed.
Yeah, agreed. And I haven't played it since. Like I have my collector's edition literally sitting on the shelf like new from 2006.
My guess is I got the last achievement in Shivering Isles probably when I was in college, would be my guess. So probably 2009 or something like that. And then I probably didn't play it after that.
Yeah, it's been a long
By the way,
time.
Shivering Isles, still, I think, probably the best expansion ever made.
Blood and Wine says to shut up, but yes, it's up
That's
there.
true. I forgot about Blood and Wine. Blood and Wine,
Or
too.
Shadow of the Earth Tree for that matter. But Shivering Isles is a classic, no doubt. No doubt. Luke, where do you sit on this? I
Somebody
don't
says,
think
"Oh,
you're.
that sounds cold." The Shivering Isles.
I don't think you
Actually-
are a big Bethesda guy.
So, to me, I am the
I can't remember.
absolute target audience for an Oblivion remake. I never played any of the Elder Scrolls games ever. I didn't get into RPGs or that
Still
fantasy.
today?
Correct. Yes. I did not get into RPGs until The Witcher 3, Kingdoms of Amalur. Amalur, but it was kind of an action blend, right? But then The Witcher 3 led me into beginning to explore RPGs in general. I truly love Starfield for its many, 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 many flaws, as Travis alluded to an hour or so ago. Bethesda games are masters of none, right? They do a lot of things well, but they don't master anything. So Starfield was essentially my first foray into that experience, that engine, as it were. So I'm actually very excited to check this out because with, a more mature sense and getting to check out Elder Scrolls in general, I might get to open up a door into a whole slew of games that I'm excited about. I'm actually working on a project, separately for XEP where I'm looking back at like some pivotal moments in my gaming pantheon. And I remember when I was loving one genre or one game, Gears, and then I discovered Halo after being like, I never played Halo before. It was Halo Reach that opened that door. And then suddenly the floodgates opened. So I'm actually hoping Oblivion does that for me, provided they've updated the experience well enough. And that's what it can do. Now, I'm not thrilled about the timing of this. We're taking it as fact because Virtuos themselves leaked this stuff. But the timing I'm very ill on. I do not appreciate its being nestled in between South of Midnight and Doom while being on top of Clair Obscur, because I think that's a good partner game for Xbox and they shouldn't be damning or punching down on their partners. That's the Titanfall effect, like don't eat their own, you don't eat the lunch of people you're working with. So it is strange that it wouldn't be this summer and that it is this week, provided nothing changes based on the information we have. But I am the target audience for this Oblivion remake. I'm excited to play this. I want to see what this does, and I hope it opens a door into the Elder Scrolls for me to just pile drive my way through it and fall in love with. I don't know if it will.
I first we have to ask a very important question.
Please.
Pip Boy isn't a Bethesda guy.
So when
you're more of a Fallout guy.
So when I never liked Fallout because I never played Fallout, and then the Fallout show occurred.
You don't enjoy your work for pleasure.
Give us the thumbs up, Luke. Give us a Pip Boy thumbs up. There we go.
Now I will tell you. So this will be an accidental plug for XEP. Lord Cog got me on this whole fundraising element where I have to wear that jumpsuit at Summer Game Fest's YouTube theater.
Yes.
If we hit our next fundraising goal, I have to wear the jumpsuit. So I'm already fasting because I'm not liking how that thing will look. Because I've been gaining all this muscle, but my belly ain't small. So I'm like, I got to look good in this jumpsuit. No one cares but me, but it matters to me. So yeah, I might be wearing that outfit. Now I will say the Fallout show, again, part of the whole Bethesda element here. I never played anything until Starfield from Bethesda proper, at least not with any focus. Really love Starfield. Love Avowed, which is, not 1-to-1. But Fallout's show led me to loving Fallout. And I really enjoyed what I played in Fallout 4. I never finished it, though. But I did really enjoy it. And so I feel like good, appropriate, modern remakes, remasters that make these games approachable and accessible to new audiences, at least for me, will bring me into this world of so many great stories being told. That is what I'm most excited about, is that if they can modernize the experience.
Yeah, sorry, didn't mean to cut you off. These games seem like they'll be right up your alley. Like you've gotten into RPGs. The nice thing, what I like about Bethesda games, I'm not a hardcore Bethesda guy, but I do enjoy the games. What I like about them is you can just get lost in them. They're definitely the game you can just sit down. You can do 5 minutes. You can do 10 hours. You can just explore. You can do what you want, and they're just very enjoyable worlds to go play around in, sandboxes. And I've always liked that about them.
And to be clear, there aren't very many good stories. in Bethesda games. It's
Yeah,
really just
yeah,
world
the
building and
storytelling's pretty
lore.
bad.
Like the stuff that's amazing is like you go through a faction quest and you or through like a faction. I guess the faction storylines actually are kind
They're
of good,
usually the
weirdly.
best parts
It
of
feels like
the
they take more
games.
chances with those in a weird
Yeah.
way. But yeah, like I don't I think the weakest part of Bethesda is that they have all this amazing world building. They almost never use it to tell like a compelling story. It's like very rare. So
In
um,
I'm sorry.
yeah, go ahead.
When I played when I played Starfield, my favorite faction was the Crimson Dawn.
Yeah, they were
guys.
awesome.
Raiders. Oh, Dawn.
Crimson Raiders, baby.
It was the coolest story that they told in there, and everything else I felt was very meh in terms of its telling of the story. But it was
Did
my
you do the other
experience.
faction quests? Because the other
Yes,
faction quests I would say are kind of similar in quality. I liked the military one where you find out about worms.
I actually really did like that. Was the first one I did, and it felt like Starfield was going to be a horror game for parts of it, which
Yeah.
I enjoyed. But the I think it was because that quest that you're mentioning, plus the Crimson, whatever it was,
Crimson Raiders.
Crimson Dawn. No, yeah, Crimson Dawn is Star Wars. Okay, thanks, Joe.
Yeah.
I knew I was mixing up, but those were very
Mhm.
combat heavy, which is a preference of Luke Lore anyway, right? I prefer combat heavy games versus a lot of dialogue. That was my favorite part of Avowed was the combat. So I think what I enjoyed most about those stories is that I was making my own story. I made my own character. I was playing it as a Jedi. I was playing it as a character I wanted to be. And that's what I went into. And so not knowing anything about Oblivion other than some dope new artwork that I've seen, I'm excited to see that world. The question truly will become, do I have time for that when I know the game that I desperately want to play, Doom of the Dark Ages, is around the corner? That's what I
And
don't know.
Expedition
And that's
33.
so
Brutal one.
so you're saying Expedition 30. We did a preview on XCP, but we're not reviewing it. I'll experience that with everybody else. That's a JRPG with Western tendencies. I don't like JRPGs, but everybody says this is the one that might bring you in.
Yeah.
Do I want to?
I'm the same way, Luke. I'm not the big JRPG guy nowadays, and it still has some of those tenets I'm concerned about. But in my preview, I did really like it, and it has some cool things. So, I mean, it's the great thing. It's on Game Pass, right? So you'll be able to try it and check it out.
I know somebody who finished it last week and told me it was a Game of the Year contender. So we'll see.
Spoilers.
Claire Obscura.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
man.
Oh, not an IGN person, by the way. We don't break
reviews
embargo.
should be out. Reviews are a few days out. But the other thing about Oblivion, let's say this does shadow drop tomorrow, right? Or shadow drops this week when it's supposed to, right? Is the shadow dropping in Game Pass as well? Figure it has to, right?
That is the report from.
Yeah.
So let me check my notes.
I don't know why they wouldn't put it on Game Pass as a
it has
Xbox studio.
Virtuos said so in their leak of some kind. Yep.
God,
by the way,
dude.
It's so weird, like pulling up a Bethesda game and it's saying Microsoft Studios, and then like on the same console, you're opening up Marathon and it says PlayStation Studios, and you're like, man, stuff's changed.
It's a different place nowadays. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say Go ahead.
I opened up the Marathon alpha app, which I can now talk about because it's apparently not under NDA anymore, on my Xbox, and the PlayStation logo came off, and I was like, my brain like holding an Xbox controller with the big PlayStation Studios logo. I was like, what's happening right now? It was very surreal.
What a couple weeks for Game Pass. Jesus, I mean, Blueprints we talked about last week. You're gonna have Oblivion and Expedition 33 dropping in the same week. That's pretty wild.
We also got the Mandragora game that I reviewed. So if you like that, that's on there.
Yeah. And South of Midnight just came out 2 weeks ago. All right. Well, I guess we'll see. You know, Nate the Hate, who's one of the most famous kind of leakers in the world for this kind of stuff that's accurate. Also, someone had asked him in this Oblivion chatter, is the Fallout 3 remaster still a thing? And he said yes, but it won't be. It's not. It's going to be a little while yet. So pretty interesting if they do. I'm assuming if this hits well, people like it, right? Fallout 3 being the next remake, that could be pretty cool. Because Fallout 3, I would say, I mean, Vegas. But Fallout 3, I actually liked better than 4. So it'd be cool to see that kind of come back in a new form as well.
Yeah, 3 is really good. That would be. I mean, New Vegas really is the one that should get the remaster.
Yeah, I know, but that's a little different. But
yeah, three would be interesting though. I
3
wonder
could be
I
cool.
wonder how they make these. Do you think they have like a legacy crew over at Bethesda that's just working on old stuff, or
Go.
So this is exactly what I wanted to touch on, Travis, because as the guy who missed this entire genre from when I was younger, I'm so excited for this. And we have seen time and again that remasters done well or done with popular franchises can be very profitable. PlayStation being a good example of this, remastering The Last of Us and Horizon.
The Last of Us has been remastered?
Several times, actually. It's got almost as many copies as Skyrim does. But when you make older stuff that was successful then and popular then accessible now, you run a good chance of it being successful a second and third, fourth, sometimes 20th time. So I sincerely hope that with the vast catalog that Xbox now has under their umbrella, they have a team or a studio dedicated to this, because it's not just Fallout 3. We understand Gears of War has something going on, whatever that means, whether that is a full remaster or remake into Unreal Engine 5, whether that's just bringing them over to PlayStation.
Because they already did that with 1, right?
Correct. They did it once, but again, PlayStation has taught us and Skyrim have taught us that you don't have to do it just once.
You think they'll do it again with 1 and
the rumor, right, is the trilogy remaster.
Trilogy is the
not
rumor.
remade.
2 and 3 makes sense, but 1, I feel like I just played through that game again.
And I think you're probably right in that. And you can look at the Master Chief Collection as having a good example of this was remade once, we've got it here, right? Then we did 2, but we never did 3, we never did 4. 4 didn't need it. There's a lot of ways to compile this stuff, but I would love a dedicated studio or a dedicated team to bringing these older titles into modern formats. And we know they've done a lot of work with backward compatibility, FPS boost and stuff, but that's all old news now at this point in the Series SX generation. So I sincerely hope they're finding ways, because I would love to play Fallout 3, but I don't want to deal with the old dated mechanics. Even in re-experiencing 4, old data mechanics, I would love a way to experience them with modern accessibility options, because that is what I've been taking such joy in. And I apologize for mentioning Doom again, but like in the Doom collections, there's accessibility stuff, widescreen, 4K, all those things. I do this again with several older titles that I've been enjoying in the last 2 years. Making games accessible is important. And if you've got a dedicated team to bringing these remasters forward, there's no reason why you can't have a remaster a year if you've spread the work between 2 studios, 3 teams, that kind of thing. I don't know if that sounds like... I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I was just going to agree with you. I was going to say, with all the resources they have under their umbrella, as you rightly called out, right? Dedicate a group, whatever that, I don't know if studio is the right word, right? But dedicate a group to this and standardize it is what I'm hearing out of you, right? So when you do this, we know that it's going to be 4K, PC, widescreen. If it lands on PlayStation as well, right? We've talked about that. All of that. Maybe Switch 2 going forward,
Absolutely.
but just do all that for these games. And you could make that like a Xbox Game Studios collection type release now, which would just continue to expand that brand as well. I think it's a good idea for sure.
Another reason Bethesda might be incentivized to release this now is the Sky Oblivion fan project.
That looks crazy too.
Yeah. Because I think that is near launch, right? Like we're pretty close to being done with that. And so they're trying to beat them to the punch because they got this fan group that's like maybe eating their lunch if they wait too long.
I know.
I'm sorry, I cut you off.
No, go.
Sky Oblivion's team put out a statement recently, which I read on socials, and it's like these can coexist. And in a world of marketing and storefronts and pages, it doesn't matter how good Sky Oblivion is. The masses would play whatever Bethesda puts out on a PlayStation, on a Switch. The Sky Oblivion takes work to get to.
But if the Oblivion remaster came out after Sky Oblivion, there would be a lot of comparisons. The fan base would be like saying, basically like, hey, how come the fan-made version has this thing and you don't, and yada yada. So I think there's like an opportunity for them to put it out. If they beat them to market, then there's less of like a hey, your fans did this better like a year ago or whatever. So
fair.
Yeah.
Good point.
I think to Luke's point, I think accessibility is important in those types of releases, right? Like we know you can go play Skyrim today with, you can make Skyrim almost a different game if
Yeah.
you're really into mods and all that, right? But how many of your general population are doing that? It's more of a hardcore thing, right? Not to
Definitely.
say a lot of people aren't doing it, but it takes more work than just going to a store, going to PSN store and buying a copy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think less than like them worried about it like cannibalizing their sales. I think it's more just like the mind share and the public sentiment of like, hey, you guys made something that's worse than this other thing that somebody used making your old game. I think that's sort of probably what they're trying to avoid.
Yeah. So, well, cool. Well, I'm excited to check it out. I'll definitely dive in. It's going to be an experience. I remember booting up Oblivion on my 360, and at the time when I had 360 back in 2006, was I had a home theater with a projector and a 100-inch screen, and I remember first turning that on and walking into like the wilderness in Oblivion, and it being like one of those seminal moments in gaming for me. It's just like, holy shit, look where games have come, or gone. And I used to show people Oblivion to say, look at this. It's crazy. So it's pretty cool that we'll get to revisit that again. So
Did you chat correctly pointing out we've already seen a lot of these, not just with Elder Scrolls, but Ninja Gaiden 2 Black, but Tony Hawk's 1 and 2, Tony Hawk's 3 and 4. Like,
yeah,
under the umbrella, these are happening. I just don't think we're talking about them the same way.
yeah, no, there's a lot of them out there. I'm pumped about Tony Hawk 3 and 4, man. I love the Tony Hawk games. So
You guys get pumped about remasters ever?
I do.
I get pumped about them when they're done well.
Yes.
So if it's just like an up-res, I'm like, like Series X up-res old games by default, right? Like it does that already. But if it's like a remake of something I really enjoy, then yeah, like Tony Hawk 1 and 2 remake, I loved. Played the hell out of it.
I was disappointed by, a good example would be the Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning's Re-Reckoning. That was a terrible remaster. They gave you new gameplay content, but they didn't streamline the experience of playing the game, and it desperately needed it. That was not a good way to experience Kingdoms of Amalur, and that sucks because that game is very fun. Whereas then you go to Ninja Gaiden 2 Black, that was a blast. It is a blast. There's a lot of remasters that when they're done well, remakes that when they're done well, and I'm using them both knowing that they're different things. When they're done well and it's a franchise you're interested in, they have the potential to unlock an entirely new fandom. When they're done poorly, like I think a lot of the Embracer garbage that they did, it's very frustrating. But like, I love Darksiders, Travis, and that's just a fun thing for me. But those remakes were just upscale, done. Like, put some time into it.
What about like Resident Evil?
Remastered. They were definitive.
You're
right. War mastered.
Resident Evil would be a perfect example here, right? Like 2, 3, 4. Those are quality. I mean, those are amazing. Yep. So, well, cool. Well, we'll obviously talk more about this probably next week, given all the leaks. So more to come on that one. Yeah. Before I get to Marathon, I wanted to touch on Switch 2, only because, we had the hold on the pre-orders in the US, and so announced that they are going to go live midnight on the 24th. So later this week, you'll be able to pre-order the Switch 2 in the US. The price is remaining at $450 for now anyway. The games are the same price as well, but some of the accessories have gone up in price. So I think like the Pro Controller, maybe the camera, a few other things have gone up in price. And they, again, the console being $450 is a big four now because it's still fluctuating. The market's fluctuating seemingly daily at this point. So, but anyway, I am in on this. We also got the Mario Kart World Direct this week. I don't know if either of you are interested or care about that, but it was a 16-minute direct of Nintendo talking about the actual details of Mario Kart World. I will tell you guys, I've said many times on the show, I'm not a big Nintendo guy nowadays, but Mario Kart World looks fantastic. The direct was awesome. It was everything I wanted to see out of a new Mario Kart. Big, crazy racing, a whole bunch of new items. They have the elimination mode. They have custom games. They have the battle modes that I love, like the balloon battle mode and some of those other modes. The open world has stuff to discover and find in it. It's not just a free roam, drive around for the fun of it type thing. And you can unlock by driving around the open world. You can unlock all sorts of costumes and outfits for the characters, which is really cool. I'm all in on this. So between Donkey Kong, which I've already raved about, and now Mario Kart World, I'm definitely pre-ordering my Switch 2. Like I said, I already pre-ordered one from the UK, but I'll try and get a US one. Hopefully they don't sell out too quickly, but we'll see.
Luke is the stand-in for Hogue today. It's now your turn to rave 100 for about 100 minutes. Your same 2 points about why you don't like the Switch. Go ahead.
Well, you see, Travis, the Switch doesn't play Skull and Bones, and that's a real problem. We're running on old hardware, and it's ridiculous. Also,
I'll predict Skull and Bones releases on it later this year. Watch.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Really doubt that.
I don't know. Ubisoft has a track record of supporting.
They already announced Outlaws for it, so
they did.
Wow, I just don't see it.
It's releasing in September for the Switch.
I Skull and Bones though, it's online game. It's I don't see it.
They have game chat. Did you not see the C button? Come on.
Sure did.
Yeah, but it's paid. The button doesn't work unless you pay.
Honestly, seeing all 4 of my boys in chat, like piloting their own ship, sailing around, sounds kind of fun.
Oh, okay. We switched back. Okay.
Yeah, I was like, wait, what? Luke, not a Nintendo guy, if I recall correctly, but
correct.
Where are you at on Switch 2? Any interest at all, or are you just letting it go by the wayside?
Absolutely interest. Yes, like many gamers, Nintendo is special, right? I do have my Switch over there, but it doesn't get much use. Truly, like I played Ultimate Alliance 3 because it's not accessible anywhere, but I played the heck out of like Breath of the Wild, one of my favorite games of all time. Love Mario Odyssey. It's good, Ain. Shut up. You're in the minority here.
I usually am.
But I truly don't understand, and I know that I'm not the first person to this. Nintendo is just abusive to its fans, and I don't understand why they get passes for so many things. And
Agreed.
So much about the Switch 2 feels to be anti-consumer. Agreed. When in many places our governments are anti-consumer at this point. So I'm like, why are we giving them? Why are we allowing this, that, or the other? So I'm very frustrated with Nintendo's handling of the Switch 2 in the things that they can control. The C button.
Get a little more aggressive. You're getting the Hogue points down.
Apologies.
Come on.
It's ridiculous. Yeah. There's a C button that doesn't work. So you built this artificial thing in.
How dare they not predict trade wars, etc.
That's not the part that I'm upset about. But like, you're going to give people a camera? We had that 2 generations ago. Nintendo has perfected the idea of polishing turds and saying, we got it now. And so I do not appreciate that. I mean, we're talking about remasters and remakes. Nintendo does a good job of that mostly, but they do resell too often. The idea that they've got a digital library that moves forward, finally, good. Switch Online's not terribly expensive, fine. But this whole like camera thing, I don't want to see people. No, thank you. I don't want them seeing me. No, thank you. They don't want to see me. No, thank you. I just don't understand. But there is no doubting the allure of a new Mario Kart. I do want to play the new Metroid, but I don't want to pay $500 to play it when it looks like an Xbox 360's best work. And so that's kind of the catch-22. I really want Nintendo to be gut checked a little bit and see a little bit less of a buy-in on Switch 2, because we see companies that live up to hype and then they believe their own hype and then they get gut checked by the market. The problem is I think there's a lot of stuff obscuring how the market works, and I think the old rules are out. If the old rules applied, the Series X, I think, would have done better. It's a wonderfully designed system. PlayStation 2 to 3, like they got gut checked. What was it? GameCube to Wii saw success. Wii to Wii U, gut check. So like these ebb and flow. I really am curious about Switch 2, but I want them to do right by their fans, their customers, their consumers. And I just don't know that that's going to happen. But where I'm at on it, I'd love to play Metroid Prime. Yeah, I'd love to play that. I'd love to go back and play my digital library of Mario stuff. I just don't think it's going to happen. And that's fine. That means I don't need to spend the money because I'm allocating it other places. I'd rather check out this this new handheld that's going to happen next year, theoretically.
Yeah.
I'd rather put my money towards that stuff. So,
well, So the Switch 2 release is on June 5th. June 5th is the day we literally fly to Summer Game Fest.
Yeah, I land in LA that day.
if it arrives before I leave for the airport, I'll have it with me and we can play some Mario Kart.
Okay, excited by that prospect. Yes, yes, because I think we have all that. The 6th is a nothing day, right? We're all just get to hang out that day, right?
Oh yeah, Thursday you just fly in and hang out for sure. Yeah, and then Friday there's really nothing but the Summer Game Fest YouTube theater.
Yeah,
there's no other event on Friday.
Yeah, I'll be dressed
Have
as Fallout
fun
Boy that day.
in LA.
You're not gonna go, Travis?
He never comes down. He doesn't come hang out with us. It's depressing.
All they do down there is they show you the games. To actually cover them, you have to be where I'm at. They have the studios are up here, so they show them down there, and then the demos are happening up here. So I stay up here and I cover the games that get announced down there. That's my
this
role.
is no time for your logic. You just come hang out with your buds. All right.
I wish I could. Honestly, I wish all the demos were down there like they used to do at E3, because then I actually had a reason to go down there and like see the industry. But now it just doesn't make sense to go down and like be in a theater and watch reveals that you could watch at home and then not be able to play them.
Well,
you know what I mean?
So what this
Playdays is pretty good. Playdays is
that's true.
Stoked for Playdays. I'm ready for those appointments to start being fully scheduled. But I will tell you this, Travis, this is the difference between you being, this is your full-time career, and us being enthusiast press. Like, I'm stoked to get to hang out with Ains, just to hang out with the Iron Lords. I've never met Logan in person. I want to see if his nails are actually painted full-time. Like, I want to know these. Like, I'm excited to go down there and hang with people and enjoy the moment. It's more the experience for me, and I know I'm gonna get the half-assed look of enthusiasts from all the real people that work there, because they always do that snooty like they got in here. Yeah, bitch, what's up?
I don't even think they'll be there.
Right? People watch my last video. What's up?
Yeah,
like like that's fun for me, and like. Yeah, I'm excited to take pictures and just see people. It's all right. I don't care. That's fun for me. To me, it's success to get there.
I'll tell you, as somebody who
TJ would go. I'll say that.
TJ would go.
TJ would go. As somebody who wrote for an indie outlet for almost a decade, like, I don't look at people from the small outlets and go like, ugh, they got in here. I look at them and I go, you're doing the Lord's work, man. Hang in there. Hopefully you'll make it to the other side and somebody will pay you to do this.
So I get excited when my videos get 500 views. That's when I'm thrilled. I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
And so it's fun to be there.
I'm sure all my reviews I wrote before IGN got like 4 reviews combined.
Yeah.
It'll be good though. And Keith's in the chat from Outer Haven too. Shout out to our friends over there at Outer Haven. Keith's awesome. I got to hang out with him at the Path of Exile 2 event, which was cool. So
also, Luke, I have to say, it's pretty surprising to hear you talk ill of Nintendo, since you look like you were born out of a Nintendo commercial. You look like one of the people.
He's a meme.
He looks like one of the people in like the corner that like in the little chat box that's going like, guys, we have to do this, and like
holding the controller like
exactly.
This.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And
dude, I watched I went back and watched more footage of Donkey Kong just because I'm hyped for it from the Treehouse videos. I had to mute them. Like, I just wanted to see the game. They're the most annoying announcers ever. It's like they're just constantly laughing for no reason, and like it's like they're hopped up on some type of happy drug. It's very weird. I know, but it's so disingenuous. Like, I just want to see the game. It's like talk about the game.
I'm convinced they do a line of coke before they
it's
celebrate
weird,
Nintendo. And like part of me thinks half the Nintendo fan base does too. They're like, Mario.
The only people who do coke at Nintendo are the people who make WarioWare. They very clearly do coke.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I miss Wario Land. Those were fun games.
They'll bring it back in some form on the Switch too.
Of course, you like a game where it's impossible to lose.
I watched. This is a random Nintendo comment. I watched Super Mario World, or finished it for the first time this week, or the new movie.
Oh, it's a good movie.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, I started it when it came out, and I never went back to it, and I just watched the rest of it this week. So
I like that idea.
It's great.
I like the idea that Luke's doing bumps in the show.
I love that movie. It's a fun movie, man.
He's just chopping it up.
What'd you think?
No, I really liked it. Yeah, I thought it was great. A lot of homage to to fans. There's a little part, right? I mean, there's all kinds of things that reference different games, but I love the part where he's running through the city and it goes to like a 2D plane and he's like jumping and then it jumps on the flagpole by the castle burger, and I was like, it's cool. Yeah.
Haynes,
What'd you
also,
think?
your chopping of Coke sound effect was, I would describe it as a little too accurate.
It was accurate.
And I think maybe we've got another concert story that we missed out on based on that.
Oh, there's
that was
plenty of
pretty.
others.
That
but-
was like you're like chopping it. And you did the perfect sound of it. I was like, man, that came really organically from him.
No, it's good. We got some super chats to get to.
On Lionheart, $5 super chat. Happy Easter, Bitcast, and Chag Pisa. Oh my God, no! Don't do this
What?
to me. Oblivion remake is so hype. Just need to see the full info on changes. Shadows is good so far.
Shadows. He's saying Assassin's Creed Shadows.
Yes, he's playing Shadows. Yes, he only started it this week though. We gave him. Oh, I need to share that picture. Keep talking for a second. Let me find it.
I love Shadows. I put 90 hours in. I loved that game. Truly loved it. That is my favorite Assassin's Creed game to date. That's a high bar because I love Black Flag, Origins, and Odyssey. So it's easily the best one for me. It's on my Game of the Year list as well.
Shadows? Nice.
Yeah.
I played the tutorial just to talk about it the week of release. I haven't touched it since, and that's only because of other games. I want to play it. I just haven't gotten to it.
Sure. That's truly the problem with Oblivion coming out when it does. And I've got other stuff in my backlog that are good that I want to play. I owe my friends playing indie. I'm gonna play indie. I need to play that. I haven't played it.
You haven't played indie. It's amazing. I love it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put Don on the spot. Don, I apologize in advance and I will give the proper context. But Don in our Season Gaming Discord, our contributor, our company chat, he goes, starting to play Shadows, and he posts this picture. And immediately, Steve and I were like, this picture is going to cause us mental damage with the framing of it.
Oh, my God.
Can we talk about this picture for a second?
What's happening?
That is
cable management, bro. There's a freaking box.
Center it, dude.
Oh, that is.
Just move it a little bit over. It's so like you don't have furniture there. Just move it a little.
And the pictures are great pictures, but like they're the wrong sizes. And then
also, that is the lowest pile carpet I've ever seen.
Well, he's in a temporary space. He's moving, so there's some stuff. That's why there's boxes.
You set him up for failure.
No, I said I'm going to give the proper context. My problem was the centering of just the
everything
dynamics of it were just a disaster. Steve and I almost lost our mind near immediately.
I'm okay if you have a temporary living arrangement. Don't send a photo of it. That's for you. That's between you and your God. You know what I mean? Like
so he did push the TV. It is on like a 4-foot arm, right? So he did move the TV back and kind of like partially centered it to make it look a little better, but there's work that needs to be done. And please don't ever show me that again.
Headspace on that wall, man. There's so much space to hang something.
Yeah. But all in, we had a good laugh about it. All in good fun, Don. And I don't know how far he is on Shadows. So he said, I can't pronounce this. What is it, Travis?
He's telling me basically happy Passover. If you don't know what Passover is, it is a holiday that, quote, celebrates the liberation of Jews from Egypt as slaves, which is a very fun thing to have a holiday for. It's like all Jewish holidays, very positive experience where you eat really bad food and you have to read a story that says praise God like 50 times. It's really cool. Really cool.
Don, thank you for the super chat and for having a laugh with us. Fat Boy Horror in the house.
Fat Boy Horror gives me £2. Quick, call an ambulance. Ains is in for Switch 2.
He's not wrong. I mean, I do buy every console. I say this every time, so I'm going to get it. Whether or not I play it is a whole nother matter. I will be playing Mario Kart and Donkey Kong, and someone noticed that there is an online, the Mario Kart mode, the elimination mode, where you have to race and eliminate. And someone said, "Oh God, Ains is going to be out there making kids cry," and I said, "That is absolutely correct."
Well,
Hell
no,
yeah,
I
dude.
support that.
Honestly, those kids might be making you cry though. The Mario
That's
Kart
true.
comp
Yeah, this
world
is
is
true.
crazy. They are
Yeah, some of
there's
those
some
guys, that's
skilled
all they
players.
play. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So, but it's gonna be fun. I'm in for it. But Donkey Kong, I went back and watched more footage this week. I'm so in for that game. So
DK.
DK.
Donkey Kong is here. You guys get it.
Marathon. Let's touch on Marathon, Luke. We covered Marathon extensively last week due to Travis being on site at Bungie for the the play session, and so we covered a lot of details, which was very informative.
I got a new piece of art
Oh
back
yeah,
here. That's Marathon. That's my
it's
my
kind of behind your
signed-
chair. Slide to the
can't
side.
Yeah. It's my new. It's a
You
signed
just see the reflection
Marathon.
of the light.
Unfortunately, you can see the reflection of my key light on it, which I did not know before just now. But
Yeah.
it's a signed thank you from Bungie for
Nice.
playing their game. It's pretty cool.
Did you have Don mount that for you?
I was gonna say it's very centered.
I centered that myself. I'll have you know. Very centered. It looked. Yeah. Anyway.
But alpha coming this week, starts in a couple days and runs, I think, for like 2 weeks, I believe, the alpha. They did come out this week, and Travis, you probably know better than I do, but they did confirm basically a whole bunch of stuff that's going to be in the game at launch is not going to be in the alpha. So don't make your final impressions. This is really just to test the game, get feedback, gunplay, that type of thing.
I can tell you exactly what's in the alpha because it's the exact build I played. So
go for it.
Included in the alpha is going to be 4 of the 6 characters that will be available at launch, the 4 runners. The 2 that are missing is the healer will not be in this game. And the other one is, I'm blanking on what that sixth character is. But yeah, the 4 that I played as are going to be there. And then 2 of the 4 maps. There's 3 maps available at launch. And then a 4th one comes out like, that's the one that the theory is that players unlock it. My theory anyway.
The community unlock.
Yeah. Community unlocked one is my theory. 2 of the 4 maps, one of which is a smaller map called Perimeter. And the other one, which is the largest map in the game, Dire Marsh, which is unlocked after you complete a couple missions. And then the temporary progression system is also involved, so you can unlock the factions and level up their perk trees and all that. So it's actually, Ains, I might disagree. I think it kind of is enough to draw whether or not you'll like the game. Like you get a pretty good hit of like what's in the game. Like you're missing a third of the characters, but I don't know if any of those characters are going to completely change whether or not you vibe with this game. And then you're missing 1 of the maps, 2 of the maps if you include the secret endgame stuff that they're refusing to talk about. So I think it actually might be a pretty good sampling of like basically what it's like to play this game. And then the cool thing is, for those who didn't know, we were not allowed to talk about the alpha at all, which is weird because we just got done previewing the exact same build. So I don't know why they wouldn't let us talk about it. However, due to public demand for it, they removed the NDA for the alpha. So now you can record, stream, share, talk about, write about anything that you play.
Are you sure?
Super
hold
cool.
on. In the
you just got done signing a thing that says you won't share it, and
correct.
Then before that even happened, Ains, that's because it's an old form that they made a week ago. This is like a couple days ago. They announced that they are removing the NDA. So if you want to cover it, you are now able to.
Cool.
Yeah, which is sweet. Honestly, it was a weird move in general for them to put everyone under NDA for content that they had already shown publicly. So I'm super glad that they removed it. I also think the best way for people to figure out if they like this game or not is to play it themselves and to see other people playing it and understand how it works and the potential there. So I think probably the reason it was under NDA is because it's an alpha build and there's going to be bugs and they probably just don't want to show their game in an unpolished state. But honestly, I don't think it's, the bugs I saw were small enough to where like people are going to write it off and be like, it's the alpha, who cares, right? I think
I mean, we've talked a little bit about Bungie having such a big following, Destiny having such a huge following, right? I think you have to allow people to see this game from your favorite content creators, your favorite streamers. That's just the world we live in nowadays.
Yeah.
So I think you got to do that. Sure. I mean, you just have to set the expectation. Look, it's an alpha. Look, there's several months to release. It'll be more polished up, but as long as you can get a general idea of the gameplay, and as you said last week extensively, the gunplay, the gameplay, the design of the systems are all really solid. That's what people are going to want to see. So, but Luke, you said you had some questions, and obviously Travis is probably one of the best people to answer them. So, in terms of Marathon, you love Halo. I don't recall you being a big Destiny guy.
Not in recent times. No, I loved Destiny 1. Loved Destiny 1.
So probably similar to me. You really kind of liked aspects of it, but didn't get into the hardcore of it.
Right.
So with Marathon being an extraction shooter, if you listened to us last week, as Travis, we've said many times now, this seems to be their most hardcore game in terms of competitive nature. And you and I have talked a lot about that, Luke. So you said you wanted to ask about this game. So hit us with like thoughts, questions, commentary.
So
I'll be back in 30 seconds.
Yeah, wash your hands. I'm going to. So, Travis, I'm going to throw just generic thoughts at you, and then I'm going to ask questions if you don't mind.
Sure, go for it.
My concerns as a casual fan here are that I don't know where Marathon is planning to be successful because of its using an old IP with a completely new gameplay genre. I am less bothered by that than clearly Ho ever was. But the idea of a premium title, but it's not premium, but it is in terms of pricing, then you're releasing it in a window where you, in perhaps a bit of genius approach, they're putting on the same day as Borderlands, which means that because that's a 2K game, it's not next to Grand Theft Auto, but you're still putting it in a window of time where people are going to be looking at other titles. Borderlands is a big deal. You're going to have Call of Duty. You're going to have seasonal updates to steadfast games like Fortnite, Marvel Rivals, etc. This is a crowded place for a lot of people to be arriving to a completely new game in an IP they're unfamiliar with. And on paper, it doesn't look like this is a lot of content. 6 runners, 3 maps, maybe a 4th map? Question mark.
Definitely a 4th map.
So definitely a 4th map. That just doesn't seem like a lot when you've got NetEase pumping out content into Marvel Rivals with a known IP, or Call of Duty is going to be arriving with its latest iteration. So in your time playing it, do you see this existing in mass or becoming something like the finals where it's there, it's going to be okay for people that want it?
Whoa. Why is finals taking strays?
Well, I mean, he's right about the popularity problem with finals. It's like a good game that more people should know about that they don't, right?
Yeah, but I mean, there's quite a few people playing it. Relax.
Yeah, but nothing compared to
it's not a Call of Duty or Rivals or Fortnite.
That's what that's where does Marathon sit?
So the first one is the use of the IP. There's 2 groups that are going to play this game: people who don't know about Marathon and people who do. People who do know about Marathon, maybe this won't convince them to play it, but maybe it will. They have nothing to lose with those people by using the brand. And then there's the people who don't know about it, who aren't going to care and think, wow, cool sci-fi game. So I don't think using the IP matters really at all, except for the Hogs of the world who are never going to play Marathon anyway. They can be upset and go live by themselves in the ocean. For the success of the game, I said last week, and I still maintain this, I am very confident that this game is going to be good because I've played a substantial amount of it. I do not have any idea if it's going to be successful for some of the reasons you mentioned. The premium price, the fact that they're charging money for it is always tough when your competitors are largely free. In terms of content, though, I actually am not that worried about content. They're different types of games. 4 maps is actually a ton of maps if you consider the fact that Apex Legends and Fortnite and all of them have like 1 map for most of their, runtime, right? These are effectively 4 like battle royale level size, levels
so that's what I should be thinking about it. It's like
that's how you should be thinking of it. I would compare it way more to a battle royale than Marvel Rivals. It's not a hero shooter in the same way. I would say Marvel Rivals is a lot easier to make content for, but if you're comparing it to like Fortnite's and Apex Legends of the world, the amount of content is actually pretty substantial. Maybe the lack of runners is a fair criticism in terms of 6 versus some of the other games I think have launched with more in kind of the hero space, but 4 felt like plenty, honestly, and I was missing 2 character classes. So if 6 makes it feel substantially larger, I think that would be pretty good. So my assessment is that from a gameplay perspective, from a content perspective, I can only say that right now it feels like more than enough to be a very fun experience for those who try it. I have no idea if people will try it. This game is very hardcore. I know for sure if you try it, you are going to bounce off of it because it's very sweaty. It is extremely hardcore.
Right.
And so the question is, they're sort of betting that there's this group out there of people who play Escape from Tarkov, of people who play battle royales, of people who play um the Valorant, these sweat lords, and that there's way more of them than you think, which I kind of buy, right? Like there probably are a lot of those sorts of people out there that just want to play battle royale and go into hardcore PvP. I would say that this is more hardcore than Fortnite or Call of Duty Warzone or anything, because you're not going in with 0 loot and trying to find loot in an individual match. You're going in with loot you worked for and then possibly losing it forever if you die, right? That's a different level of like sweatiness. And so, yeah, I think the biggest risk with this game is their ability to actually find the audience that they're looking for and onboard the players that are skeptical in a game that, honestly, the worst part of the alpha I played was the onboarding experience. It's very clear they're still working on it, so I don't think it's representative, but it can be brutal when you have no loot and you're going in and just like doing these really short exfiltrations, and it just doesn't feel real great at the beginning. So we'll see how they work on that. But yeah, the big question mark is, can they succeed with this game? Not so much will this game be fun to play. I already know it's fun to play.
Okay.
Travis,
So
by the way, we got a comment last week. Someone said Travis has to stop saying sweat lords and sweaty constantly. He's like, it's getting gross over here.
There you go. That's fair. I don't know a better way to put it. I mean, you could say competitive. What are some
It's
other...
kind of the word, that's
yeah, I don't know what
as,
else to say. Like, we're tryhards.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
maybe.
Anyway, Luke, go.
Well, so this is maybe less about Marathon and more about Bungie, but maybe tell me if I'm tinfoil hatting, but this is odd to me. Bungie was brought in by PlayStation for reasons. They consulted on, what was it, The Last of Us multiplayer?
A few live service games reportedly, including The Last of Us multiplayer.
So they knocked out a bunch of those options, and then with arguably more name panache. But then you also have your Concord, which I acknowledge failed a number of spectacularly. And now this is Bungie's essential sequel to Destiny, one of the most successful live service games in the last decade, even if it's got plenty of problems, right? Yep. So now this is their next step. Bungie, to me, as a diehard Halo fan, Bungie is a husk of what it once was. It doesn't bring with it name panache that I think it would have had to the masses. And I'm curious if the Bungie name is set to live and die by this, or if it's just a game that either succeeds or fails, and they move on to the next project. Is there a lot invested for Bungie in this? I guess is the core question.
So for the first one, like, does the Bungie name live or die by this? I don't know, because the Bungie means different things to different people. Like, there's a whole generation of people who now think of Bungie as the live service MMO looter shooter company, which is not the same thing that like Ains thinks of when he thinks of Bungie. He thinks of like the old company that makes Halo games and interesting shooters. And then there's an even older generation that thinks of them as the sci-fi storytellers who make weird experimental games like Oni. And so I think the Bungie name just means different things. In terms of how much skin in the game does Bungie have for this? This is without a doubt make or break for Bungie. Like if Marathon doesn't do well, I don't see a world where Bungie exists 5 years from now for a few reasons. The Destiny fan base is getting smaller and older all the time, and Bungie knows this because they have a ton of data on it, right? And so they know that like their onboarding isn't good enough to get new players into Destiny. And at this point, Destiny 2 has been around for so long that your player base is only shrinking. You're not gaining any new players. And so they're struggling with that. They also lost half of their staff last year. Their team went down in size a lot. If you go to Bungie, doesn't seem like they're feeling it. Their studio is beautiful. Their people there are really confident in the work they're doing. They're stoked about the game they're making, and Marathon it feels like a confident game, which is very surprising because I was very nervous about this game before I played it. But if you talk to the people that are in charge of the game, the people that are making the decision, Lars and Joe and all them, like they're very confident in this game, and you play it, there's no wonder why. Like they still have that magic of you pick up a sniper, you pop somebody in the head, and you just feel on top of the world for a couple seconds, and they're really good at bringing that. So yes, Bungie has all the skin in the game possible, in my opinion. I don't see them surviving this if it is a colossal failure. If this is another Concord, which by the way, I hate that people are comparing it to Concord because they're completely different. Really, the only comparison I can see is that they're both like $40 games when they're competing against games that are free. That is a fair comparison. But in terms of game mechanics and the market it's appealing to, I don't think it could be more different. But
agreed.
If this becomes a Concord 2, I think Bungie will go the same way as the Concord studio. Like I just don't see how they could remain open for business if this doesn't work out for them.
Some funny comments, and I think it shows the kind of thought process, the varied thought process in this conversation, right? So Planet Yavin, one of our regulars, shout out, says this could be another BioWare situation. The studio just becomes a shell of what it used to be, and they don't see the same success or kind of a celebratory recognition that they once did. Very next comment was Machine XP, which I think, I've talked to like Eric about, and this is how Eric thinks of Bungie, which is I see Bungie being like a Blizzard adjacent type, smaller scale, but being able to popularize a game genre in a hyper polished way. And I think, in my view, not to say this game's going to be a success, but it looks to me like that's what Bungie is doing here, right? They made Halo what it is, and they took the FPS genre, brought it to consoles, added that competitive edge, and blew it up, right? And then they left that behind. They said, we're going to do shooter looter, partial MMO, kind of open, evolving.
They took
world
Borderlands and just destroyed its lunch. You know what I mean? Like they
basically expanded that in a hyper polished way. And now they're saying, okay, there's this kind of hybrid PvE, PvP extraction shooter where you can play with friends, be competitive if you want to, but also play solo if you want to. That's really gaining steam in the Steam and streamer environment, right? This shooter space. And it looks like that's what they're trying to do again, is basically to come in and say, here's what an extraction shooter can be, and here's what it should feel and look like. And because we talked about it last week, Tarkov is very popular. It's still niche in terms of who it's reaching, whereas it feels like Marathon can reach a very broad audience.
I mean, if Joe Ziegler is the game director on Marathon, and he is the Valorant guy, and Valorant has a very rabid fan base, and I feel like keeps getting bigger all the time.
It is a big game.
And honestly, if you look at any of the PvP shooter talent that works at Bungie, they're all working on Marathon. They got pulled over in that project like 4 or 5 years ago, and I think it shows in the product of Destiny. Like Destiny, the people working on it, they're still good at doing a very specific PvE thing, seasonal content and all that. But like the PvP in that game has been bad ever since those guys left. And you can see it. Like you can see directly when Destiny started to stop caring about its PvP, and it has to do with like the resources that were allocated to the Marathon project. So,
let's get a couple comments and super chats real quick. Sorry. Shoosh.
All good. Shoosh, €5 super chat. Shout out to Tom Marks and Don for hurting me twice this week. Yes, if you are not familiar, my boss, Tom Marks, posted a photo that I begged him not to share on social media of his gaming chair.
That was real?
It was real.
Okay, so this is a real story. I go to Tom's house pretty regularly. We're friends. And the first time I walked in and saw his gaming chair, I was shocked and horrified at this chair. He sits in a very bizarre way. He sits like on top of his own foot. And over years, his foot dug a hole in his chair, and it became like comfortable for him to have his chair or his foot in a little chair slot for his foot, and he would sit on top of it. Totally unhinged.
I thought that was fake.
It is not
Here
fake,
is the
dude.
picture for our audience so everyone can reference what Travis is referring to.
Yeah, so that hole on the
Jesus.
right-hand side, that's because he puts his left foot underneath himself when he sits, and his foot just dug a big hole in his chair. And I was like, dude, there are good chairs. Please, God, get a new one. And he was like, I like this one. It's comfortable. I've tried other ones, and they don't like do the same thing. And I was like, Tom, I will buy you a chair. I promise that there's a better chair out there than this. And honestly, this chair, it was like an $80 gaming chair that he got like right when gaming chairs first started to become a thing. Literally, his house looks normal. This chair looks like he got it out of a junkyard, and it's completely out of place in his house. So, dude, I was like, do not share this. Tom, the world already hates us for our articles. You don't need to give them more fuel to add to this fire. And he did not listen. He posted it. The good news is, exactly. Stephen H says, does IGN even pay their people? Has there ever been better proof that IGN does not get paid for reviews than that? That is our head of reviews right there, clearly showing that he is hard up for cash.
I just don't know. I see pictures of chairs worn out like that, right? I have a Secret Lab chair. I've had it for almost 6 years now. I just did a long-term review on the channel to show it. I'm sitting in it right now. If you look at this chair, it looks like it's new. I sit in this chair because I worked from home, remember, for 4 years. I still work from home part-time. I sit in this chair easily anywhere from 6 to 12, 14 hours a day for 6+ years now.
How much did your chair cost?
Oh, Secret Lab's on the higher end of gaming chairs. Yeah, it's a $500 chair.
Yeah, $500. Okay, fair. That will last you 6 years or more. His chair was $80, Zanes. It was a bad chair. It was the kind of chair that goes bad after 2 years, and he kept it for a decade. And I was like, dude, he had like all these things. Like, I'd be like, dude, well, how about this chair? How about that chair? And he would be like, no, it does these things with the arms that other chairs don't do. And he had like all of these like specific things that were requirements of his chair. And I was like, dude, please, I'm begging you to get a new chair. So yeah, this was a point of stress in our friendship. And
it was a moment,
it was a moment. It really was.
It's offensive.
It is.
Just needs to be said. It's offensive.
And honestly, I will say the one good that came of him sharing it on social is it broke the spell, because I don't think Tom realized how horrifying his chair was to people who would see it. Because people, anytime somebody saw it, they would have like a reaction to it. They would be like, dude, what is this? You know what I mean? And so when he shared it on social, everybody just roasting his chair kind of made him realize that he should have gotten rid of it years ago, and that he was mentally attached to it in a way where like he didn't see how derelict it looked. I mean, it was like truly it was just horrifying. So I think he now realizes that his chair was scary and that he should have gotten rid of it a long time ago.
Yes.
So anyway,
very long time ago, apparently.
There you go. Shush, thanks for the super chat.
Yes, I was just going to say the same thing. Thank you, Shush. Eric is here.
Game Positive offers $6.99 Canadian. Happy Easter, all. Hope you all have an I didn't get into the Marathon Alpha and I'm sad about it kind of day.
It feels like there's stuff still going out for it, so don't panic.
Yes, so the codes are going out in waves, and I think the middle of this week was like the people who were explicitly told that they were going to be invited, like myself. We all got friend codes, but not many of them. I gave Ains one. I've got another one earmarked for another friend, but like I don't have a lot of codes. And then it sounds like other people, like I know a content creator streamer who has a smaller channel. He is getting a code and 2 friend codes on Monday, tomorrow. So I think they're going out in like little mini waves, and I would expect more like normies, quote unquote, to get them probably in the middle of next week, end of next week, right before the alpha goes.
You just
live.
called me a normie.
I know. That's
right.
Our phrase around here. He calls me a noob normies.
Yeah.
What was I going to say? Yeah, and it runs for a couple weeks too. It's not like a
Yes.
weekend. So yeah, should be good.
So there's a chance they'll open it up. I kind of think it'll be a little smaller than people hope. I don't think they're going to be like, here's thousands of codes, but I do know Scaro said he's getting like some alpha codes that he's going to give away on stream. So I think there's probably going to be
other stuff.
Yeah.
People
get access. More people over the course of next week and the weeks after.
Well, and I know they said that this is not like, I think during their live stream they said like there'll be other opportunities to play. So I think this is just the initial alpha. So
I don't know if I'm not NDA'd or anything, but there may or may not have been some Bungie employees who let slip that maybe there's a beta pretty close to launch that will be more open.
Always.
So,
I mean, Bungie's always been good about that.
Yep.
So cool. Eric, I just want to say go Kings go. Thank you. Mr. Don Lionheart.
Don Lionheart, $2 super chat. Travis ignored my chat. Happy Passover.
I said he must have been behind because we talked about it after.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, I thought he was referencing me skipping over actually saying it. But yes, happy Passover. If you can call it happy, I'm not sure it is. I think most Jewish holidays are intentionally sad.
Hey man, got to learn from history,
Yeah, dude, for sure.
More than ever.
Honestly, it's fine. Not all holidays need to be happy. I hate that they're all celebratory. Like sometimes you need a Yom Kippur in there. That's really just about like self-improvement.
You need a
humbling
reminder
yourself before others. That is the best holiday, by the way, Yom Kippur. It's a sad holiday, but it helps you grow. That's a good holiday. More holidays should be like that.
Can we? Desperately we need this, Travis. I hate that all holidays are celebratory. Like, just so good.
Look, some holidays are about self-improvement, and self-improvement isn't always, cheery.
It's true. Rest of us for the rest of us.
Yeah, that's right. Don, thank you as always. And Bizzle in the house, one of our OGs.
Lunch Bizzle has been a member for 29 months. It's 2 years and 5 months. I'm super late. Family Easter stuff going on today. Just wanted to pop in and say hi and happy Easter to you, my friends.
Thank you, my friend. My fellow Gears fanatic over there. There's probably no one I know that is more excited for E-Day than him. So that's going to be a good time.
I hate that it's ED is the acronym.
E-Day. E-Day. It's not ED.
Sure.
That's probably why they called it E-Day. But
yeah, I bet. Yeah, somebody was like, "Oh, we'll call it ED," and then everybody just like, "Nah, you can't do that, dude. Let's call it E-Day."
Especially at Gears, like of all franchises. That's great.
Yeah. Should we do a tier list? All Gears character ranked by how likely it is that they have ED. Who's at the top? Baird. Yeah,
Baird.
Oh,
Baird.
Poor Baird. That's a shame.
I know. I love Baird.
Baird's
more
awesome.
And more as the series goes on, he has, I think, the most character growth of any of the four of the OG four.
The OG four, yeah. I always like Ty. I don't know. I was partial to Ty. Not calling him out for ED, but Ty was my guy. Yeah, I don't know.
Cool.
I'm gonna go with the Flame Grenadier. He struggles.
Yeah, I could see it.
Yeah.
General Croc, right? Is his name
Croc?
Croc? Rom? You mean?
Rom.
General Croc.
Rom. RAAM, right? Is that his name?
Yes.
RAAM. Yes. Yes.
I couldn't remember his name.
Can I tell you?
Croc was as close as I could get. There's a lot of K's in the grubs.
One of my biggest points of shame. One, I was very privileged to talk to Cliffy B, but there was a thing that I knew. It was like who designed the Lancer, and I knew that it was Adam Phoenix, but I said Baird in the interview.
Ooh,
roasted in the comments.
Oh yeah, dude. Every once in a while, you'll make a tiny mistake, and people will be like, "This guy's never played games." Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Okay, first of all, shut up. Second of all, you try to do a live show. It's hard. Like you make mistakes. You can't think of words on the spot. Like performing is a skill set, and just because you play a game doesn't mean you're going to be able to recall. I remember back when I was just a listener of IGN podcasts, I would like listen to like Podcasts Unlocked or whatever, and there would be like a trivia contest or somebody would be trying to think of a game, and I would be like shouting into my earbuds the answer. And then as soon as I got on the show and had to do it, I was like, I can't think of any of this. It's just very people.
It's
people
much
it's easy to criticize. You try it, is what I say.
Yeah, when you're on the show and you're thinking, especially hosting too, when you're thinking about topics and like cadence and setting things up and just it happens.
And then
all
you
the
get
time.
off the show. You guys ever do this? You ever get off the show and then you think of what the way
it comes into your head right away? Yeah,
you're
right
like,
away.
God damn it! Why didn't I say that?
Yeah.
I hate those moments. Yeah.
It happens to me usually if I'm coming straight from work to go home, right? I got to talk to Schreier a few weeks back, and like after that interview, I was just like, because I stuttered, I got confused. I had all my stuff written out ahead of time, but I had left work in this brutal state of just like, it was just a rough day. And when you work with kids, it's rough, and I take it too personally, probably. And I got home, and I was trying to like be Luke, and I just and he was gracious and good about it, but it's just like, afterwards you're like, man, I know, so I can do so much better. What happened?
Yeah, it's tough. Literally, that's why I got into stand up and doing improv and all that, is just because I was so bad in person, having conversations with people and like turning it on. And it's a skill you have to develop, and I'm pretty good at it now. But like, I came from the lowest you could get. I was basically like completely socially disabled, and now can talk to people at a pretty high level. So like, I don't know, man. Like that's my advice, literally, is go take some improv classes if you want to get better at like the freak ability to turn it on at 8:20 p.m. when you need it. That's like a tough skill.
It's true.
I can talk about that stuff all day. That's my concerts.
I go to comedy shows instead of concerts.
There you go. Comedy shows are where it's at. I go to a lot
comedy
of
shows.
Those.
Are fun. Yeah, especially when you have the right audience that are like down to be clowned. You know what I mean? Where like the comic can pick people, make fun of them, and everyone's just having a good time. Those are fun.
You know what's even more fun? Performing at comedy shows. That is so much fun. It is so much fun, dude.
I would just because. I've seen Seinfeld, Kevin Hart, Tom Segura, which is my favorite that I've seen live. I missed all of those. Yeah, have you really? Oh, so good. Do you have a favorite stand-up show you've been to?
Carlin. I've seen Carlin. I saw
really
Carlin 4 or 5 times, and I mean, being able to look back on that now, because he's a big Jersey guy. If you know Carlin, he's from Jersey and talks about Jersey all the time. And so I grew up outside of Philadelphia. He was always in Atlantic City, and so I got to see him several times, and I'll always remember those moments.
Dope. I want to see Bill Burr.
I've seen Bill Burr once. He came here in Kansas City, and the best part about it was he was like drinking while performing, which I guess he tends to do. And it was like 2 hours in, and he was supposed to be finishing up, and he's like, I'm having such a great fucking time. We'll just keep going. And he went for like 3 hours and 15 minutes. He just kept going. It was a great time. Yeah.
Nice. I think I honestly, I've been to probably thousands of shows, and then some I've been lucky enough to perform with like people who are famous, right? But probably up there is I was at the recording they did for Anthony Jeselnik's show, Thoughts and Prayers. It just happened to be in San Francisco.
Great show.
And I was in the audience of that show with like the crazy lady who was laughing hysterically and like going off. So like that is a memory. Like I can go and watch that on Netflix, and like I remember where I was sitting in the audience and that whole set. That was a really
if you've never watched a show, he has the driest delivery. It's so good. It's a great performance.
Nice.
Yeah, Tom Segura is pretty good. I think well, I won't comment on his trajectory, but he comes to Cobb's Comedy Club in San Francisco pretty often. He's good. He's great.
Yeah.
Segura peaked, and like I loved him at his peak. I'm a little concerned of late.
Well, here's the thing, and this is me going to be talking about my many comedy opinions, but I think as soon as you become a podcaster, you start focusing a lot less on the proper comedian part of it. I've seen it so many times, and Segura is now a very good podcast host and increasingly seemingly less of a like proper stand-up comedian. But I'm not gonna he's following the money for sure, and his
Agreed.
career is going really well. But like, yeah, I always cringe a little bit when I see a great comedian become a okay comedian and a great podcast host.
Yeah,
it happens a lot, weirdly.
It does.
Mm.
It does.
Yeah, Yavin says I would have loved to have seen Eddie Murphy in his prime. That would have been something. Yeah,
That would have been cool.
that would have been fun. Anyway, oh, I wanted to shout out before I forget on Gears. This is just a funny anecdote, I guess. But when I used to play Gears really seriously and like competitive in 2 and 3 all the time, I don't know who it is, but I would see him in the lobby all the time, him or her in the lobby, and his gamer tag was ramen noodles, spelled like Rom. And they were
good.
And they were really good too. So it was always
Yeah.
cool. Like they'd be in my match. I'm like, oh shit, Ramen's back. So
yeah, that's awesome. I love. What are the weirdest gamer tags or PlayStation IDs you have been defeated at in multiplayer?
I got a good one for you. I got a good one for you because it always lives in my brain. So this is a deep dive Family Guy reference. But when I used to play Smite, I've played a lot of Smite, the first one. There was someone who we ran into a few times who was really good, and their gamer tag was "Show me mashed potatoes." And it's yeah, exactly. From when he's doing like it's from the early Family Guy, and me and my buddy who played Smite together are big Family Guy like OGs, and so every time we would see him, it would just make us crack up. So
that's really cool. I played against a very competitive trio of people. It was my squad, and I would go up against this other squad that we would see in the wild all the time, and we were like some of the most try hard teams out there. And
sweaty is the word you want.
I was trying to avoid it, but we were absolutely dripping with sweat while we were playing these games. Absolutely, our mics, our headsets, the leather peeling off, because all the
look
moisture.
like Tom Marks's headset.
That's right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, derelict headsets. Turtle Beach just in trauma in the chat. And I will never forget all 3 of their gamer tags. One was called Bob from Prison. The other one was Dat Booty Smell Good Dough. And the final one was paddle_my_balls, all caps. They were an absolute god tier team, those 3 tags. And I will remember them till the day I die.
Sorry, I didn't mean to throw that up yet.
No, go ahead.
That's great though. Yeah. So Eat Fresh Guy says I used to have a friend with the gamer tag Grandma's Cooking. So when you would get killed, it would say X got killed by Grandma's Cooking. That's good stuff.
My grandma needs to work on her. Leave it on more. Burn out some of that.
There's some good ones out there though. There's definitely some good ones.
My biggest regret of the youth, this is where I know I'm old, is that kids these days don't respect their username like they used to, because they can just change it on a whim. And like you play Rivals or COD and you're playing against PC people who just change it all the time. Because I've had Insipid Ghost since 2006, right? Like that's my name and stuff, but they don't have that. However, big news, guys. The other day, my crew and I, we were playing, I think it was Rivals. No, it was Fortnite. I got killed by Donald Trump. It said his name right there. Avid Fortnite player. I think he was playing on the same team as Elon and Barack Obama. So
very cool.
Whoa, okay.
Pretty big deal.
One of these things is not like the other.
Yeah.
I don't know what you mean. All world leaders who are very good at video games and play them themselves. So
it's true.
Here we are.
Oh God.
Yep.
Yeah, there's some definitely good ones. Last night, literally, I was playing finals last night. And I took a picture of it because the one gamer tag on the other team was Ted Cruz ate my son. Oh man, it's good times, man. You gotta love it.
That guy is very unlikable.
Yeah, and I believed him. Probably did eat his son. Yeah. But anyway, I have to mention one thing before we head out. It's been a fun show, a lot of good chatter today, and a lot of lore dumps today too. But we have to mention in Hoag's honor before we get out of here today that there is a season 2, which Travis rightly corrected me on. Not season 2.
You called it a
year
season
2. Year 2 of Skull and Bones that Ubisoft announced this week. It begins in late May, I believe.
Yes.
I think.
I'll be honest. I liked Skull and Bones, I think, more than like, I don't think people tried it. I think if people tried it, more people would have discovered that
Yeah.
it's actually a pretty good game. Like it's actually a lot better than you probably are expecting. I still was 100% sure that they were not going to get a year 2 because of
Yeah.
the shrinking player population, the fact that it sold, I think they said less than 1 million copies. There were like all these problems with it. The fact that it's getting a year 2, I'm so happy to see. And I'll be honest, I'm probably not going to jump back in. I fell off pretty hard, but I played that game for months after my review was done. Like I kept up with it and was actually having a really good time. So I wish them all the best. And year 2 sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun. So
Yeah, the funny thing is I remember, and I don't have the specifics in front of me, but there's been some, a lot of Ubisoft earnings reports with all the stuff that's gone on. And I remember either earlier this year or late last year, it being called out in one of the earning reports as one of their top earners. So there are people playing this game, whether we, as we always say, right, we live in our own worlds and ecosystems, and there's people playing this game. So, I mean, the fact that it's getting a year 2 is evidence of that.
There's got to be whales in that game because
Yeah.
the cosmetics are fantastic and they are so tempting to buy. They're also really overpriced. Like like you probably shouldn't pay for them, but like there must be people dropping crazy money because even when I was still playing, I was keeping up with it. I had a really elite loadout. I was like the guy who I was making sure I had like every mod and ship and weapon unlocked. And there were some people with crazy ship designs. And they're all really cool. Like none of them feel like out of place, like crossovers or stuff that doesn't make sense. It's like all like really flavorful, super, like it makes sense with like the factions in the world and just really cool stuff. So it's a good game, man.
Sorry, I was typing a comment, but yeah, Planet Yavin says free weekend of Skull and Bones on Ubisoft. I really enjoyed it. So again, I think it's to your point. Like it's maybe not for everyone, of course, but if more people played it, it must have, it probably would have taken off a little more.
I think people would be surprised if they gave it a try. It's just nobody wants to play a game where you ride around on boats and you can't get off of your ship. You just play as a boat, a CRPG, as I called it in my review.
I'm really glad we're complimenting Skull and Bones when Hoag's not here. This feels right.
Yeah, me too.
I know.
I like it.
Like Hoag, if you were here last week, we could have talked Skull and Bones, but there's nothing to talk about now.
Yeah, unfortunately, the news is past. You missed it, dude.
Yeah, sorry, you missed it, dude.
Chump.
Oh man, well guys, it has been a great conversation. I did not think we would go 2.5 hours today, but we took a whole bunch of left turns and tangents, but they were good ones. And honestly, we get a lot of good feedback when we just talk about random stuff. Funny enough, people like hearing about us for some odd reason. I don't know why, but Luke, it's been great having you on, my friend. Always good to chat with you. We don't get to do cast co-op as much as we'd like nowadays, but I will see you here in 6 weeks, my friend. We'll be hanging out again.
That soon, really?
6 weeks, man. Yeah.
Jeez. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's crazy. So, and we'll be hanging out with Keith and Alex and Ray are both coming from SG. Logan's coming with you for
Ray's going to be there. Nice.
Yeah, Ray's coming over.
And we're all there,
I know. If only he would.
There's always a
friends.
chance. There's always a chance they'll send me down there to cover something.
Just go. It's for friends. You just go.
You're saying I go for recreation?
Yes. Take some time in your life to have fun.
No, we don't do that. No, sir.
Absolutely not.
Work is my life, and I will be doing that. No, I mean, look, there's always a chance they'll send me down there. It doesn't seem likely, but if I do have any excuse, I will take the excuse and I'll go hang out with you.
Yeah, come on down. It's a good time.
Yeah.
And you get to go around LA, which is a complete ripoff, although you're in San Fran. So, I mean, you're used to it.
Yeah, I mean, it's cheap. That's where I go to get my cheap goods, dude.
Anyway, Luke, thanks for coming on late notice and thanks for hanging out with us. Good conversation today. Where can people find you? What do you have cooking? Anything else you want to shout out?
Yeah, no, thank you for having me. I genuinely appreciate the invitation and getting to hang out with you guys. You can find me on the Xbox Expansion Pass. It's a weekly podcast, of course. We cover all things gaming as they pertain to the Xbox ecosystem. Not a console warring space. We love games everywhere. Logan and I have been doing our Road to SGF fundraising shenanigans, and that's been fun, nerve-wracking. I've actually been really working hard on my shorts, like editing them. And so hopefully people see an improvement there. And I've had a video that I've been working on writing for a while, and it's about Gears of War and its impact on my life and stuff. And I think I'm gonna finalize and record that. I've written the script out for it. Deeply personal one, just to do. And so I'm excited to talk about that.
They really are the Backstreet Boys of your adulthood.
They truly are. They truly are. They truly are. And so, yeah, I think I'm gonna.
How Gears of War helped me deal with my ED.
Oh boy. Ahead of ED.
Is that the that's the headline of the article, right?
No.
Oh, okay. Got it.
No, I did pause because I thought you were gonna say the title. I was like, how did you? Because I've written them. I was like, how
does it start with How Gears of War? Like I got
yeah, that's the problem. I was like, oh no.
How Gears of War helped me. E-Day is actually an allegory.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Men dealing with this problem that seems
true. Just comes out of the ground, out of nowhere.
Yeah, it just comes out of the ground, emerges into your life.
Deeply personal video that I'm making, and you guys, here we are. I love it.
Emergence Day is just a boo.
I love that Luke is trying to be so genuine with us right now. We're just shitting on him. We're like, nah, dude, keep it in.
You don't go genuine at the 2.5 hour mark of Bitcast. Everyone knows this. Come on.
Yep.
Anyway,
Ains, I saw your note. Yes, I can do that. That'll be a good idea. I'll do that.
Yeah, it'll help you.
Okay, cool deal. So,
yeah. Anything else you want to call
out? No, man. Just enjoy playing games. Thank you guys for what you guys do. Support content creators, whenever you can, likes, shares, etc. So.
Yeah, of course. On the SG side of the house, a little more quiet right now. We had a stretch there where we were felt like 2-3 reviews or articles a week, which was nuts, but for us anyway. But we have the review of Look Outside, like I said, little indie game. So both video and written is up. Obviously, Expedition 33, Claire Obscure comes out. Claire Obscure Expedition 33 comes out this week. We'll be talking a lot about that next week. We've got the Marathon Alpha this week as well, and apparently Oblivion as well. So an awful lot to talk about next week. And Hogue will be back next week as well. So we'll be back to our usual shenanigans. Travis, what you got? Wrap us up.
I've got a few reviews. I've got Schedule 1 is done. I've got Mandragora Whispers of the Witch Tree review going live tomorrow. You can read my review in progress that I wrote like middle last week when I'd only played for like 6 hours. And then I've got a preview I'm very excited to talk about that I cannot share. And then I'm already working on my next review, which is a game I also can't talk about at all, but I'm very excited to talk about all that stuff next week or the week after or some combination thereof. And also I'll be playing the Marathon Alpha with Ains and some other folks, so that'll be fun. I can't wait to squat up.
It's gonna get sweaty, my friend.
Oh, it's gonna get sweaty. I was thinking maybe you, me, and Scarrow. Scarrow, I know, is gonna be looking for a crew, so that'd be fun.
I'm down. Yeah,
he's really good. So we'd be lords of sweat.
I'm in. Yeah,
that's what I'm up to.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Well, chat, you've been awesome this week. I know Easter Sunday and Hogue not being here, and so thank you for hanging out with us. It's great to see everyone. Hope you have a great weekend. And I'll just shout out at the end, of course, because I need to. NHL playoffs have started, and Kings play tomorrow. Go Kings, go! So we'll hope you're watching and checking that out. Otherwise, enjoy your gaming as always, and we will talk to you next Sunday. Till then, peace.